Alright, here we go. I swear, every time, it's like, I'm gonna go into this other room real quick. Rex is just sort of like, ah, hello, I followed you. Don't worry about it, I'm just here. Sorry about that, I had to go and adjust a few things on back end. Alright, so, we've gone and won the tournament, and now we're trying to meet with the Queen. Fortunately, the Intelligence Division has everything under lockdown, and we basically got a plan with Hilda here, who is the head maid, that might get us an audience, but she's being rather discreet about it, so we don't know. But yeah, so we need to go and actually attend the banquet now, since it seems like it's going to be starting. So yeah, I don't remember the exact place where the... Wait, no, it's probably downstairs now that I think about it, in the actual banquet hall. What am I doing? Yeah, it's in that big... where the red carpet is, basically. Hold on a second. Maybe we need to get back to Zin. If it's not time for the actual banquet hall banquet bit. Zin's just right over here. Honestly, Zin is asking a very little questions for somebody who should probably know better. Hey guys, talk about being late. The party's about to start, you know. Sorry, we got so caught up in sightseeing that we lost track of time. Plus, we also talked to all the mayors. Huh, well, aren't we well connected? We're close friends with the mayor of Roland. Plus, we've met the other mayors in the course of our travels. Ah, I see. I guess your work as a bracer has caused you to meet quite a few big shots. You two sure get around for junior bracers. Well, you might say that. Have you done any bracer assignments since we came to Gransel? I guess it's not all that different from other countries, right? Right. For a full-fledged bracer, nationality isn't an issue when it comes to your work. The prelim fights and legal procedures at the embassy kept me too busy to get any actual work done, though. But hey, there are 4 other bracers on duty too, which isn't so bad. Normally, that would be enough to handle most cases, I'd imagine. But with all of them concentrated in Gransel, that must make it tough to handle any hurdles. To tough out. Okay. But with all of them concentrated in Gransel, that must make it tough to any cases in other... Why am I reading handle as hurdle? To handle any cases in other regions. I don't know why I was reading hurdle. Yeah, could be. I feel like a goose just walked over my grave. I wonder what's going on with Shara back in Roland. Now that's a name that rings a bell. You wouldn't happen to be talking about Sherazard, would you? You know her? She's our mentor, and she's been a close friend for ages. Aha, okay, that makes sense. I met her a long time ago, when the case brought her to Calvert. She was fortunate to have a good master working with her from such a young age. Her master? Probably Dad. Please pardon my... The table for the dinner party has been set. May I show you your way? Sure, I was getting bored just waiting around anyhow. Alright, wanna go eat fancy? Sure, that fight left me starving. Let's go dig in! Come on, you two. It would be nice if you two didn't completely forget your manners, for once. Unfortunately, you can't forget manners if you never had them. This is a dinner party, right? What's with all the empty plates then? Plenty of knives and forks, though. That's because it's a formal dinner. Everything comes out in a specific order, starting with the hors d'oeuvres. Then you use the knife and the forks from the outside in. And that's all part of having good table manners? And here comes the anxiety attack. It's really not so bad. It really does, it does mean that you have to get some of the, it does mean that you get to have some of the finest food available. Manners and etiquette are secondary. Indeed, indeed. I'm told you are acquainted with everyone who will be attending. No need to get all stressed out. I guess that's true. Please don't encourage her. On that note, is the gentleman accompanying you going to be okay with a knife and fork? I'm told the folks from the east usually eat with chopsticks. You've done your research. However, I'm a firm believer in liberal do as liberals do policy. I am not especially skilled with them, but I will use a knife and fork. My, how elegantly handled. I'm impressed. You're as much of a gentleman as you are a martial arts champion. Aha, you flatter me. Boy, he really is a sucker for a pretty face. I think he's just more being polite than alleged, though. Anyway, her grace seems really late. I wonder what he's up to. Indeed. So it's the seat at the head of the table is for the Duke, then who might that other one be for? Indeed. Perhaps it is intended for Princess Claudia. Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. My humblest apology for the long delay. Presenting His Grace the Duke. Well then, I must apologize for making you wait so. Honestly, Dunnan, like, everywhere you go, you make people wait really long times for anyways, so it's not really all that surprising at this point, to be perfectly honest. I'm afraid that I was in a meeting from which I simply could not break away. This gentleman is Colonel Richard, commanding officer of the Royal Intelligence Division. I've invited him here to thank him for his tireless efforts in helping to deal with the terrorist situation. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I was quite gratified to be invited to this occasion by our Honorable Duke. I ask that you pardon my uncouth soldier's uniform and allow me to sit with you. I'm going to sit next to Zen. You've got to be kidding me. We're having dinner with him? I suspect this might happen, but it's still unnerving. Ha ha ha! Excellent, excellent! What say you, Mayor Mabel? What do you think of Gransel's Castle's master chef? Is his cooking not on par with the restaurant founded in... Is his cooking not on par with that found in Bosse's Anti-Rose restaurant? Yes, it's quite remarkable. The wine selection also perfectly complements the meal. I almost want to try hiring him away. Ah ha ha! You are not the first to say such things. And what of you, Zen, wasn't it? Is this a food to your liking? Oh, it's... it's like going from like, oh, to in rapid succession. I need some water. Oh boy. That's what I get for having a bunch of characters with different, like, very wide ranges of stuff. And now they're all in the same room. So I'm going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Excuse me. Oh, excellent. I don't have the words alright. I don't have the words to describe the sense of refinement and depth. I certainly believe I could develop a real taste for Liberan cuisine, though. Ah, good, good. I'm glad to hear it. And you young bracers, I imagine you've never experienced such fine food in your life before? It's extremely delicious. Far more worthy of being associated with the royal family than the person who invited us. Indeed, it is a genuine treat. Hmm? It's certainly delicious food, and we wouldn't miss a chance to attend so prestigious an event like this. Stella's just like, yo, this food is great. You suck, though. You're too dumb to know this, but I'm saying you suck. Thank you for graciously inviting us to this meal. Very kind of you to say so. I do finally remember what my butler has been telling me about. We met before during the Ruan incident. Perhaps our fates are linked in some bizarre fashion. Yes, sir, maybe so. So he'd forgotten all about us until his butler reminded him. Come, let us put social classes and ranks aside for the evening. Food is abundant, and the wine flows freely, so enjoy to your heart's content. Your Grace, if we could, I'd like to do as we discussed first. Ah, yes, that is a fine idea. Actually, I have something important to say to you fine folks who represent the kingdom. I use this celebration as a place to make an important announcement. Announcement? What might that be? I believe I will allow Colonel Richard to explain in detail. Thank you. As you are no doubt aware already, Her Majesty has been in poor health of late. However, she has been recovering and may grace us with a public appearance soon. Ah, that's excellent news. Could we possibly go in and check on her? Unfortunately, she does not consider that to be a wise decision at the moment. Within a few days, it seems likely that the terrorists plaguing the kingdom will be swept away. In light of that, the Queen's birthday celebrations will be held as originally planned. Well, the citizens will surely be happy to hear this news, as they have been looking forward to it. But surely that is not all you wish to tell us. Right. If that were all, you could have just sent along a message. Indeed, you are correct. Her Majesty is continuing to recover, as previously was stated. However, given the gravity of her condition, she has also issued a proclamation. Due to her tenuous health, she has stated that she wishes to abdicate the throne and turn over royal authority to her nephew, Duke Dunham. What? Is that true? Joshua, this is... Yeah, the conspiracy finally makes its appearance. I was surprised when Her Majesty first broached the subject as well, but her illness has left her quite frail. But it is only natural. She ruled the kingdom for 40 years, leading it through times of strife and war, all without a husband, might I add. Given that, I wish to relieve her of the stress of her duties following the festival's successful conclusion. As the heir to the throne, the decisions are mine to make. How terrible. Is Her Majesty's condition truly that severe? I'm ashamed that I've never noticed any signs in any of my annual visits. Isn't this far too serious a matter to discuss at what was supposedly a casual dinner? Pardon my rudeness, but this all seems like to stretch credulity. Ha! Mayor Mabel, are you saying that you cannot take His Grace at his word? No, nothing of the sort. I simply mean that, as an elected official, I don't understand why the successor to the throne can't be elected in the same fashion. That's true. If possible, I'd like to hear this directly from Her Majesty. Your unease is quite understandable, but we do ask that you try to maintain your composure and allow us to continue. As mentioned earlier, I believe Her Majesty will give a formal announcement herself during the festival. Can you be persuaded to shelve your doubts until then? Well, this issue is basically this. Once this becomes common knowledge, we cannot know how this is and we will react. This is why we're telling the leaders first, to help stave off any chaos or public disorder before it happens. This was also the decision of Her Grace. Yes, this is true. Also, the Queen's abdication of the throne will have international repercussions. The other nations on the continent will have their eyes on us, and we must be watchful for any actions on part of the Erebonians. Surely you can see why it's necessary to show unified support for the new king. This is the world in which we are going to be living. He makes it all sound so rational. Yeah, he's quite the master manipulator. In other words, the official decree will be given out during the birthday celebrations. But you thought it would be best to inform us first so we can prepare for any issues that may arise, correct? I'm glad to see that we have an understanding. If this all comes to pass, we're going to find ourselves quite busy. Yes, we'll have to announce this to the citizens. I have a question. I believe that the Duke has a fair claim to the throne. However, is there not another who also has the same right of succession? Well, no doubt you're referring to Her Majesty's granddaughter, Princess Claudia. It is true that she and His Grace have an equal claim to the throne, but it would appear that Her Majesty did not choose her due to her tender age. And I must say, I agree with her wisdom in this matter. I should hardly like to impose such a responsibility upon a girl so young. Yes, so absolutely. For the time being, I believe it would be best for Claudia to find a fine marriage prospect. Though it is strictly informal, there is already interest from from the royal families of a number of other nations. Perhaps a royal wedding could take place as soon as this year. Oh my. I understand. If that happens, then we'll have two major events to celebrate. I also think she's a bit young for marriage. Excuse me, may I ask something? Tin? I don't mind, speak freely. Sorry to be rude, but this doesn't sound like a conversation you want outsiders hearing, particularly a foreigner. So how come you're making this announcement now? This is solely because of the serendipitous turn of events that allowed racers to win the championship. We had wanted to inform the guild of this in advance as well. I've already discussed the idea with Her Majesty. Gotcha. I guess Liberal's military and bracers are on just as good of terms as the stories say. This is because we lack the military strength of the Empire or the Republic. The harsh reality is that keeping close relations with each other is a must. In any event, do you know how understand our intentions? Yes. Alright. We'll pass on what we learned here to the guild then. One second. Man, I've heard some pretty unbelievable conversations in my time, but that was something else. I mean, I'm a foreigner after all, so it's not a big deal for me. I bet that was huge news for you guys, though. Of course it was! I can't believe things have already gone this far. Huh? Never mind. But really, what a shame. That food was amazing, and it practically melted in my mouth. Couldn't tell what the last flavor was, though. Understandable enough. But anyways, did you want to go for a walk to work off some of that rich food, Estelle? Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. I could go for a little bit of fresh air. You played tourist a little while ago, and now you want to take an after-dinner walk? I sure don't get it. Must be a local thing. I think you're exaggerating a little bit. You haven't gone out to take in the sights? There's a lot of historical architecture on here, you know. If the mood hits me, I may still give it a shot. On the other hand, the kitchen may still have some food left over. You've got to be kidding me. You're still hungry? If you had a blade to my throat, my dying wish would be for some liquor and a snack. I might go and hunt up a bar or something in a little bit. Are you okay, Zen? Things have gotten serious. We really have to find a way to get in to see Her Majesty. First things first, we gotta talk to the head maid Hilda, like we promised. She probably knows the way for us to speak directly to the Queen. Fine by me. Alright, I believe... Wasn't it like... Oh, it's you. What? Colonel Richard. Estelle and Joshua. This is our first opportunity to truly speak face to face, I believe. The last time we saw one another was right after Mayor Dalmore was arrested, wasn't it? I'm honestly surprised that you remember us. I realize that we exchanged few words, but you made quite an impression on me. My curiosity was piqued, so I did a bit of checking up on you. I was quite surprised to learn that you were the children of Colonel Cassius. How'd you figure that out? Please understand, I'm not trying to show off the Intelligence Division's capabilities. I'm greatly indebted to him from our time together in the army. Indeed, more than words can properly express. Hmm? Might I persuade you to stay a while and talk? I've been hoping to speak with you two for quite some time now. Huh? But pardon me, Colonel, but don't you have a meeting with His Grace? I don't mind being a little late. Ah, yes, if we're going to talk, why don't we use this lounge inside? I'll mix you a couple of virgin cocktails. I'll prepare them, sir. No, that won't be necessary. I want you to go to His Grace, and inform him that I'll be delayed. Yes, sir. Mm. Oh, pardon me then. Now then, shall we retire to the lounge? Please follow me. Joshua, what do we do? I don't see where we have much choice but to follow him. We'll be a little late, but we can talk to the headmay later. He's just like, oh hey, you're wandering around, let's talk. I met Cassius shortly after I graduated from the military academy. I was assigned to a mobile unit that was under his command. And since that time, I found myself in his debt again and again, both personally and professionally. He did? And, what did you think of him at the time? To put it simply, he was a hero, and a master swordsman to boot. No matter the scenario, he would find a way to handle any number of battlefronts in every direction. It wasn't just a matter of sheer tactics. He understood and could detect high-level strategy as well. Direct, even. Quite simply, he was a man without peer. If I didn't know better, I'd say you were talking about two different people. So, you were with our father during the Hundred Days War? Yes, he was my CO. Even now, I can still vividly remember the excitement that filled me as we executed his plan that turned the war's tide. Anytime I get to talk about those days, time just runs on away without me. But this much I can tell you. If Cassius Sprite had not been part of the Royal Army, the Burrow would now be a part of the Erebonian Empire. No way! That's kind of hard to believe. Well, as a hero, he had a knack for doing unbelievable things. He left the army immediately after the war, declining even a medal from the Queen, so few know of his achievements. But inside the army, many soldiers still hold him up as a prime example of what a hero should be. He never said one word about any of this to me. You know, it's not really the kind of thing you tell your daughter about. It's not fair to criticize him for that. Hey, whose side are you on? Besides, why doesn't any of this shock you like it shocks me? Did you already know all about him or something? Well, I didn't know that he was Colonel Richard's superior officer. The rest I knew about vaguely. Vaguely? You're an accomplice? Hey, calm down. It's not like he told me any of it. I just figured a lot of it out. He told me he didn't feel it was something worth going out of his way to tell others about. I just don't get it. When he comes back, he is so in trouble. Please excuse us. We didn't mean to interrupt. No. Seeing you like this is actually a bit of a relief. When I found out that your father was intending to leave the military, I desperately tried to stop him. But it seems that by leaving, he did what was best for himself after all. After losing his dear wife, maybe being with you was all he could do to help recover. Colonel Richard. Now then, I thank you for taking the time to come here. I really can't keep the Duke waiting, so I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me. Oh, alright. Our apologies for making you so late. Not at all. You both have, told me the one thing I wanted to most to know. And thus I have no regrets. Huh? How's that again? I'm sure we'll have a chance to speak again soon. Cassius might even be with us then, to share this in the stories. There he goes. Okay, who was that man and what has he done with Colonel Richard? What are you babbling about now? It's just that, isn't it? It's weird to hear him talk about Dad that way. I wasn't expecting him to be, well, so nice. True, he doesn't seem all that villainous anyway. Even so, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that he's got something up his sleeve. For now, we should probably put the issue of Dad aside. Yeah, I guess you're right. And I hate to say it, but I think he might have been playing nice just because he could get something out of it. He's an intelligence officer, so he probably thinks that fooling a couple of kids is as easy as it could be. Don't you think that's going a little too far? You might be right. Let me be the one who's mistrustful of others. You should just follow your instincts and believe whatever you think is right. Huh? But just make sure you're prepared for anything. Don't let your guard down. I'd say a bracer's job is pretty much that, in fact. Okay, I got it. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Estelle. Thank you. What the heck are you thanking me for? Anyway, we need to go back and see Helda. She's probably sick of waiting for us. Yeah, she should be in the maid quarters. Yeah. He's definitely not just a one-dimensional kind of like, I'm here, evil man, you know? The Colonel has a lot of stuff going on. No. No. Where is the maid room again? Is it over... Wait, down, and then the other door? Here we go. It's a big castle. Ah, there you are. I've been waiting for you. You're awfully late, aren't you? Sorry about that. We kind of got caught by Colonel Richard. Did you now? He had something to tell us about our dad. I don't think he has any idea what we're up to, though. I see. Ah, yes. The letter of introduction did mention that you were Mr. Cassius's children. I can understand at least some of how Colonel Richard feels. Oh, do you know our dad, too? He used to come here when he worked as General Morgan's aide-de-camp. I'm told he was a school friend of the late Princess, Her Majesty's son. Late Prince? Princess Claudia's father. Yes, he was killed 15 years ago in a tragic shipwreck. Would that he were still alive today, none of this would be happening. Huh? But lamenting what might have been is a fool's errand. Evening is fast. We can make preparations at once. Come in, Shia. Oh, you... Shia, right? Yes, thank you for remembering. You look well, Estelle and Joshua. I've been told of your current predicament. You won't find a more dependable child. She has been a great help to us whenever the princess is in the castle. Princess Claudia. You shouldn't pose a problem. That shouldn't pose a problem. Thank you. If you're ready, you should go and change into your uniforms. The ribbon and the headpiece are tricky, so I'll adjust them for you. What? What do you mean? Estelle is going to need to dress as one of the maids in order to get into the royal keep. A little playing with the hair and you'll blend right in. Oh, I get it. Uniforms don't allow for much in the way of personalization. That should be ideal for sneaking in. Me in a maid outfit. I've been wanting to try one on since we first met Leela. Cute, breezy, and easy to move in. Well, if our uniforms weren't easy to move in, they'd make the cleaning much more difficult. I thought so. Well, let's get the sucker on me. Why so excited? I'm glad to see you're in high spirits, but you need to remember your manners in front of the queen. You won't have me to lean on this time. Why not? You're changing too, aren't you? Pardon? I mean, he did play the princess during the play at the campus festival. If there's really that much of a difference between the fancy maid... Is there really that much of a difference between the fancy dress and the maid outfit? That was different. It was a play. I can't appear before Her Majesty in women's clothing. Oh, you'll be fine. It's nothing at all to be shameful of or anything. Besides, you make such a gorgeous princess. Not this again. Cut the jokes, will you? Hilda, Shia, help me out here. Say something. Anyone? I see. That shouldn't pose a problem. Shia, don't you have an extra hairpiece designed for the princess? Yes, it's never been used, though. He has that full dark hair, so it would probably look good on him. Hey, hold on a second. Well, it looks like the 3-to-1 vote. Majority rules. This way, please. We can use this as a changing room. Wait a minute. I don't even remember agreeing to the changing. No, wait, Hilda, help me. Where's Olivia? I need it. Oh, no. All right. If I have to change, I can do it myself. Shia, you're not planning on using makeup too, are you? Kids these days. Honestly, I approve. Oh my. Ta-da! What do you think? I think it suits her very well. Such a bright, active maid in training. And after only just coming to the castle too. You certainly have me convinced. And with that hair down like that, no one will be any the wiser. Perhaps you'd like to work at Gransel Castle for real when this is all settled. Well, we already do work as bracers, so, anyway. Come on, Joshua, get out here. Not a chance I can talk you out of this? None at all. You're just making this take longer. Fine, you're impossible sometimes. 10 out of 10. Perfect. Oh, it's almost frightening how good that looks. Isn't it awesome? It looks better on him than it does on me, and I'm an actual girl. A bit of makeup can make all the difference in the world. Please just say you're done. Well, I suppose so. I'll show you the way to the royal keep. You need to make certain that you watch me and learn how a maid handles herself. Yes, ma'am. We're finally going to meet the queen in person. Yes, this is a do-or-die moment. We just have to stay focused and get to the royal keep. It's hard to take you seriously in that outfit. Well, excuse me. This was your idea. I can't believe you got the nerve to pick on. Sorry. Don't get all mad. I'll treat you to some ice cream later, okay? I'm not like you. I'm not obsessed with food. Hey, I'm not obsessed with food. They get along so well, don't they? We're out of time. Let's get on to the royal keep. Oh, that's interesting. So, Hilda's technically the one leading, because, you know, like, we're in training, we're following after all that shtick. Honestly, I'm getting major, like, if you ever played Paper Mario, those moments when you're going, like, in between chapters where you play as Peach and you're wandering around the castle at night, and it's heavily guarded. I'm getting those vibes from all this. There's currently an important meeting being held in the audience chamber. I apologize, we have to wait before you can enter. Good thing that we went the wrong... I was totally meaning to go this way, the whole time, from the beginning. I know my way around this castle, clearly. Hilda, what business do you have with Her Majesty at this hour? I'm bringing some tea and spoons at her request. The current situation means that Her Majesty is denied the right to even go about her daily life as she wishes, after all. Such harsh words. Huh. Who are these maids with you? I don't recognize them. His Grace ordered me to hire on some additional staff to help. They only just arrived at the castle today. Really now? Yeah, you're pretty cute. Thank you. Bows. Huh? Why do I get the feeling we've met before? Crap! Do you stare so hard at every young lady you see? I do hope you're not thinking any untoward thoughts. I rather think that His Grace and the Colonel would disapprove. Hey, it's not like that. We're the elites of the Royal Army. We wouldn't do that. All's well, then. Now, will you please allow us to pass? Pardon us, ladies. Please go ahead. That was intense. Thanks, Hilda. You're a real lifesaver. Yeah, that was really well done. I was just glad I could help. Now then, are you planning to change your clothes before going to see Her Majesty? If you prefer, I can show you the way now. I think I'm okay as is. Boys' clothes now. Oh, for the love of... Why are you always so self-conscious? That smug look Estelle has is just perfect. It's just 10 out of 10. What's wrong with what you had on? It's not an issue of self-confidence. By the way, Hilda, is this room what I think it is? Yes, it's Princess Claudia's room. But she rarely sleeps in the castle, so the room is all but unused. No kidding. But I heard that the princess was tending to the queen. I guess that's just gossip then. You have to ask Her Majesty for the full details. Her room is on the second floor of the royal keep. I'll take you there. Oh no. Rex, do you detect any Royal Army soldiers in black uniforms? Is that what this is? Or are they at the door? Have they spotted us? Is it too late? Is the mission ruined, Rex? It's okay. I believe in you, Rex. With some pets, you'll be able to sneak through. Goodbye. I beg your pardon, Your Majesty. I brought the two I spoke of before. This is Joshua and Estelle. Thank you kindly. By all means, enter. As you wish. I'll wait for you here. You two go on in. right. Pardon us. Oh, I bid you welcome. My name is Alicia von Oslies. I am the 26th monarch of the nation of Liberl. I'm Estelle Bright. I'm a junior bracer of the Bracer Guild. And I'm Joshua Bright of the same affiliation. It's a great honor to meet you, Your Majesty. Estelle and Joshua, I have truly been looking forward to meeting you both. I regret that I cannot offer you proper hospitality, but I have prepared some tea. Please have some and relax. I see. So Professor Russell asked you to bring this information. A pitch black orbment capable of negating all other orbital energies. And you say that the Colonel has acquired it? The professor told us that you might have some idea what he intends to do with it, Your Majesty. Can you tell us anything? I have but a vague idea, but I do not think that the Colonel even knew of it. Perhaps I am worrying about nothing, but even so. Excuse me, but what is this vague idea you have? I suppose there's no harm in telling you. Roughly 10 years ago, a massive orbital reaction was detected beneath Gransel. Professor Russell was the individual who came to investigate. Huh? Did this happen in the vicinity of the sewers? Not far, no, far deeper underground than that, in fact. Professor Russell was under the impression that it might be a relic of the ancients that still functioned. Wow. So it was a bona fide artifact then. Most artifacts I know of have lost their functions, like the mechanisms on the top of the towers. But every now and then, you find one that still functions, like Mayor Dalmort's family heirloom. And something like that is beneath Gransel. So what does that tell us about the gospel? Maybe it could be used to halt the artifact's functions? Could it do that? Yes. However, we were unable to establish the nature of the artifact, or indeed why it was buried beneath the city. But it's beyond my imaginings how the Colonel should know of its existence. Professor Russell's research on it was kept strictly confidential and off the record. I see. In any event, it seems likely that trouble is on the way. Honestly, just as I start to think maybe the Colonel might be a slightly nicer guy than we were giving him credit for. But when someone's trying to stir up some trouble, that's when us bracers come in. We won't let him get away with whatever evil schemes he's trying to pull off. I'd expect no less from Cassius's daughter. Huh? You're acquainted with our father, Your Majesty? He was a friend of my late son's, and a great savior to the nation. Even after he retired from the army, he would sometimes undertake requests for me. Really? I didn't know that. I imagine that there are a great many things about him that you do not know, including the precise role he played in the war 10 years ago. I assume you have not been told? Well, nothing super detailed. Perhaps then that is the role that I am meant to play. Estelle and Joshua, would you indulge me by listening to an old story? Yes, absolutely. It's no indulgence, Your Majesty. 10 years ago, in the spring, a tragedy occurred in the southern reaches of the Erebonian Empire. Its cause is yet unknown, so that is something that I must omit. The Empire used that event as a pretext for the invasion of Liberl. So began the sad times that would become known as the 100 Days' War. Just as the Empire made its declaration of war, a massive military force breached Hakken Gate. It would seem like scant moments, but in what seemed like scant moments, all of Liberl became occupied territory, save for Gransel. It is said that the invasion force was 3 times the size of the entire royal army. The reinforcements from Calvert were too late to stop their advance. It was but a matter of time before Gransel too would fall. But 2 months after the outbreak of hostilities, the war changed in a way that none could have anticipated or imagined. Patrol ships had been just developed and were used to recapture Liberl's checkpoints, severing the Imperial Army's communications. The Royal Army then set about recapturing the major regions, one by one, using ships launched from Leyston Fortress. Zis, Ruan, Bose, Roland. With their supply lines severed, the Erebonian forces occupying each region were swiftly crushed. And the one behind this plan for a counteroffensive was none other than one Colonel Cassius Bright. It was your father, who was General Morgan's right-hand man at the time, as well as Colonel Richard's superior officer. Afterwards, with the intercession of the Bracer Guild and the Sepian Church, the war was brought to an end. But it was at this time that Cassius lost what he treasured most in all the world. Lena, your mother, Estelle. The clock tower was destroyed in the Imperial Army's vain attempts to hold back the counteroffensive. What followed, I'm sure you know. Cassius was not able to be by his wife's side in her final moments. No, I had no idea. And he believed that the military operation that he himself had planned effectively caused her death. Blaming himself, he left the military and took up the path of the Bracer. All to stay with the only one he had left, you. And at the time, he swore he would be able to protect those he loved. Dad, that idiot. It wasn't his fault that Mom died. How could he even think that? Estelle. Yes, you're correct. Given that all he lost was in service to his country, the responsibility falls upon me. And so I am sorry, Estelle. I failed to protect your mother. I have wished to apologize to you for a long time. But you don't need to apologize. You protected the peace of this country ever since the war ended. The peace that Dad and all those other soldiers who defended Liberl in the war fought so hard to protect. And the peace that Mom gave her life for so I could live in it. You have nothing to be sorry for. Estelle, you have a kind heart, and I am grateful. It gladdens my heart to have finally met you in person. Now, more than ever. Your Majesty. However, that is why I do not wish you to put yourself in danger. I would like for you to remove yourself from any dealings with this matter. What? But Julia, Lieutenant Schwartz asked us to help you. I thank you. I am grateful for your willingness to do so. But if some tragedy were to befall you in Cassius's absence, I know of no apology that could ever suffice. I ask only that you go back to your home in Roland and wait for your father to return. But, if I may, Your Majesty, the peace that Dad restored and that you protect, though it has held firm, now trembles like a leaf in the breeze. Joshua, if the Colonel is able to use the gospel for whatever purpose he intends, and if he succeeds in making the Duke the new king of the Liberl, then what will become of that peace? I ask only that you consider that. Your Majesty, right when we became junior bracers, we inherited a whole lot of work from our dad. After the Sky Bandit incident, we got that letter and the package, and we've been running all around creation ever since. It feels like to us like our dad's been nudging us in the back this whole time. That's why I want to defend peace. Though that's why everyone we've met and everyone we care about can go on living secure and happy lives. Just like you, and just like Mom and Dad, I'm doing this because it's what I believe is right. I really want to see it through. Estelle, it seems she was right about you. Huh? I too am ready. I would like for the two of you to carry my request to the Bracer Guild. Your Majesty! My liege, we will do whatever you ask. My request is for the Bracer Guild to rescue those being held captive by the Intelligence Division. Among them is my granddaughter, Claudia. So the princess is being held captive somewhere. Yes, this coup d'etat started when I backed her as a successor to the throne. In other words, Duke Denon was out of the running. Yes, though he is my nephew, he is possessed of a considerable number of character flaws. In brief, where he is lacking, my granddaughter shines. For the sake of this nation's future, I would have my granddaughter succeed me. Well, I don't actually know her, but I personally lean towards the idea that your judgment should really be trusted here. No matter the era, there will always be those who object strongly to a woman wielding political power. Not to mention, the memory of the invasion by a larger power is still relatively fresh. Some of them will perceive a succession of 2 consecutive queens to be a sign of weakness. It is hardly surprising that such a notion has taken root in the minds of the people. Some, including Colonel Richard, I presume. Quite right. Claudia's pending succession to the throne caught him quite unawares. That, along with his passing of this information to the Duke, is what led to this coup. This was all staged so that Liberl could become a strong military power, with the Colonel ruling from the shadows. I see. That finally lets us see the whole picture. So if Liberl becomes a militarized country, what would happen then? A great many things. Taxes would be levied to fill the war chest. or where weaponry would be developed with the express intent of causing havoc on a massive scale. Wide-ranging policies of conscription would be adopted, and no doubt contracting Jaeger Corps would be made legal, which is not the case at present. Oh no! Indeed, the Colonel has made very adamant requests that I enact such policies. I thought such proposals were born out of genuine love for this country, but I never agreed that they were the right course of action to take. The Royal Army is not all that protects this land. We have worked hard to maintain treaties with other countries. Defending a nation goes hand in hand with free cultural exchange and trade with all other nations to the benefit of all. I feel the same way, Your Majesty. Yeah, it makes sense to me. The Colonel, however, finds such notions to be womanly and foolishly idealistic, and so he demanded that I abdicate the throne in exchange for Claudia's safe return. Ah, many people have had family members taken to ensure that they would not dare to oppose the Colonel. But I am the Queen, and I will not allow all that I love about my country to be destroyed simply because of blood ties. Still, she is my only granddaughter. I cannot simply allow her to die. Your Majesty, please try to relax. We hear and comply with your request. We will see to it that the princess is rescued from those who have imprisoned her. Thank you, both of you. With that reassurance, I will do all that I can to oppose the Colonel's demands. Have you any other requests, Your Majesty? The gospel still has to be dealt with, and I don't think, we should just leave you here. I appreciate your sentiment, Estelle, but the present state of affairs is not contingent upon my freedom or imprisonment. The gospel shall continue to weigh heavily on my mind for a great many reasons. For my part, I will attempt to ascertain the Colonel's true intentions with it. We gotta save the princess. That was a totally awesome person. Super nice, but with a seriously strong will. I hope I'm even 1/10 that cool when I get old. Cool? Did you actually call the queen that? Still, she definitely has what it takes to govern the whole country. Yeah, I really want to stop this coup thingy and help her. That's definitely outside our bracer jurisdiction. Well, first things first, we can do whatever we can. We do whatever we can. Right. But, I'm still freaking out about what the queen told us about Dad. I wonder if she's got any more tidbits she'd be willing to share. Estelle and Joshua, have you finished changing? Oh, yeah. 1 second. Then we should return to the waiting room at once. It's already after 11 o'clock. Actually, it's almost midnight. Oh, it's really that late? The Queen spoke with us for a long time. If we stay any longer, it's apt to make the guards suspicious. Making our way out of the guardhouse. Are you going home for the day, Miss Hilda? Yes, I believe so. Just be sure not to do Her Majesty any further discourtesy. Oh, that's not fair. Please relax. We are patriots to the core. That's good to hear. Now I believe that we shall be on our way. Pardon me. By your leave. By the way, ladies. Huh? I don't think we ever got your names. May we ask them? I am, Lena Scher. Who should I say I am? I don't think it matters, but... Lena. My, isn't that a lovely name? It has a pleasant ring to it. Thank you very much. And how about you, miss? You may call me Karen. Karen, you say? That's a very pretty name. You're too kind, sir. I'm rather fond of it myself. Are you now? Oh, right. We're with the Special Ops. My name is... I think that's quite enough. I sense an ulterior motive at work. No, I mean, at least not from us. No. Please be safe on your way home. I am not thinking horny thoughts. I just wish to go and see the cute maid and the... I'm screwing it up, aren't I? Have a good day. Oh, they're already gone. Dude, you blew it. I know. Why aren't you, Mr. Popularity? It was like their eyes all changed when you told them your name. Hey, it was not. I did see you shying away from joining in the conversation. Sure, but that doesn't mean I wasn't nervous. I kind of lost all of my confidence there. Huh? Well, that's all this story's about. Oh, Duke Dunham. Um, Shady old court. Hey, you mates. Hey, no, you don't look familiar. Those two are the new hires who I am instructing. This is Lena, and that's Karen. They're still quite inexperienced, so I'm giving them some extra training time. Hmm? Did he recognize us? Not good. Given how many times we run into him, it'd be bizarre if he didn't recognize us. Come on, Philip. Enough with the staring. It's quite unusual to see you come to see coming from you. Stiff upper lip and all that. Please pardon my rudeness. You look much like my niece. My eyes were playing tricks on me, it seems. I'm dreadfully sorry for the discourtesy. Oh, it's no bother. Please don't concern yourself. You know, now that I stop and look at you, I must say you both are quite lovely. You with the brown hair, you have a very healthy, clean look to you. As for you, I personally think you look best with that raven hair of yours even longer. I'm honored. Yes. Lena, was it not? You shall attend to me this evening. Huh? Huh? Your Grace. I don't want to even serve him tea. I don't think tea is what he once served. Your Grace, your flirtations, while flattering, are best saved for another time and place. All of the maids in the castle work directly in the service of Her Majesty, Queen Alicia. I trust you have not forgotten. I know. Some folks simply can't appreciate a joke. It wasn't a threat or anything. It's just a joke, please. I just wanted to, sleep with my subordinate. There's nothing strange about that. Please. I'm drunk. Oh, this cat will be mine in a week's time anyway. We can set time aside for fun then. Duke Dunhams, I'm a bad person. Why am I like this? Mm. Your Grace, please, no more of this. I do not mind when you drink to excess, but you should know how your libido gets in such instances. I say this, knowing full well that I will be reprimanded for it. But I said I was joking. Enough. I'm going to bed. It was just a joke, bro. As you wish, Your Grace. Your room is right over there. Whoa. Oh, right, Elena. You just let me know if you have any problems, anything at all. I'll give you the best advice the future king can give. Thank you very much. Can I kick him now? Aren't you very cute? Yes, good. I literally have to raise my chin every time I do that dude's voice instinctively. I'm basically raising my nose towards the game whenever I'm speaking oh, it is I. I am Duke Dunham. I shall soon be the king. Everyone takes me seriously. It's like if you have played Shadowbringers, Final Fantasy 14, if you imagine Vothry, but no one takes him seriously. That's the kind of voice I'm trying to go for. Just like, oh, I am magnificent. I am righteousness. Oh, the light surges within me. Such bliss. I see now. This is the path of my ascension. I apologize unreservedly for all the fuss. His Grace will likely remember none of this come the morning. Please set aside your minds for now. Put them in this jar, and then once they're in the jar, we'll seal it up. We'll mail it back to your home, and then you can get it once you return home. That's all. I should certainly hope so. I'm truly sorry. Madam and young missus, I beg your pardon, but I must take my leave. I feel like the butler only speaks every 3 or 4 streams, so it's he has a different voice every time he shows up. I feel like even more than Zin. I feel so badly for him. He truly seems to bear the weight of the world on his shoulders. Oh, do you know Mr. Philip personally? Yes, ever since we were children, though not nearly as well as we once did, thanks to the one he serves. I see. He seems like he's nervous all the time, doesn't he? I'll bet that everything between the Duke and the Colonel has him completely on edge. Probably, yeah. By the way, what was that you were saying earlier about me being the popular one? The Duke certainly seemed awfully fond of you. Please, I'd like to keep my food in my stomach, thank you. Oh, right, back to before. I feel like I'm missing something. Why would the Duke want tea so late? Well, you see, Estelle, allow me to elucidate the matter of tea and why gentlemen should never request it in polite company. Huh? Come closer. Hilda whispered something into Estelle's ear. Um, now do you understand? Yes. Hopeless, completely hopeless. Estelle's like, can I unlearn the knowledge of what happened? Please, could you just like, can I just kill him already? I just want to punt him with the staff. Just send him flying off the cliff. Thanks for everything, both of you. If not for you, I don't know what we'd have done. Please, it was the least that we could do in Her Majesty's service. I only ask that you complete the request she made of you. I feel the same way. I beg of you, do everything in your power to save the princess. Oh, are you one of her royal retainers? Yes, I regret that rarely get the chance to serve her directly. She's so kind and open. She always treated me more like a friend than a servant. The thought of her being held captive keeps me up at night. I understand. Well, you can rest easy now that we're on the job. We'll save her. Shall we be going? Yo, I fully expect Zin to be conked out. Either that or he's like boozing it up. Well, what might I inquire you're doing at this late hour? Ah, it's the other person whose voice changes all the time. Ah! Captain Almathea. Good evening. I realize that you've been invited here, but don't you think it's a little late for kids to be walking out around? Please pardon us. We'd simply never been in a castle like this, and we couldn't resist the urge to take a look around. That's certainly unbelievable. So, where were you half an hour ago? Please enlighten me, if only for my own edification. Cellar, roller guard room, administrative room, maid quarters, the kitchen. I'm trying to think. We'll say administrative room is bad. All these places they can double check, but the maid quarters. I admire your honesty. So let's not waste time on our games. I did, in fact, receive several reports of you going in and out of the maid quarters. Did you not think it a bit odd to be looking around in that particular place? What? You don't think that questioning someone like that when you already know where you already have the facts is a little cruel? I take that as a compliment. So what business do you have with the maid quarters? I suggest you answer honestly. Well, Oh! Estelle, Joshua! You've been here this whole time? Then... Then... My boy's in wobbly woobly. I've been drinking up. Ooh, now that's the stuff. He's drunk. Ooh, hey, sorry. Hey, if it ain't my favorite gorgeous officer lady. Nice. Some luck with that meetup again, eh? I suppose. So, what's going on? Are my students here causing any trouble? Students? No, it's just that they were in the maid's quarter for a while. I merely wanted to know their business simply as a security precaution. Yeah, I totally get you. I just sent them off to find them some munchies to go with my booze. Hey, Joshua, you kids find us anything to eat? No, the cooks aren't back yet, I guess. When we went to ask the maid if there was anything we could get our hands on, but no luck. Oh, well, I'll have to do without, I guess. Oh, hey, I just had a great idea. I love the idea of, like, Zin just turning into a surfer bro when he gets drunk, but I'm not gonna do it. You wanna come and join me for a drink? I mean, nothing goes with drink like a beautiful lady. I'm afraid I am busy, so I'll have to decline your generous offer. My apologies for the misunderstanding, but I would advise you to return to your room and remain there for the rest of the night. I have to investigate any suspicious activity, you understand? Of course. It is late. We should probably just get to bed. Very good, then. Now, if you'll excuse us. She's like, I do not wish to be hit on by the drunk man. Denied. Oh well, might as well just go back to the room. Right. We'll go with you. Looks like we managed to convince her at least. What? Then aren't you drunk? I was acting drunk. I haven't had a single drop. No way, your face had even gone all red. He just focused on making his blood circulate better, which made it look like he was intoxicated. It said it was some kind of Eastern martial arts breathing exercise, right? Yo, he's got the hamon. Huh, I'm surprised that you're familiar with it. But hey, you seem to be in the tight spot, so I figured I'd distract everyone. Nice, huh? Saved your bacon, as the saying goes. You are an evil, evil man, then. Okay, sure, but you did help us out, but you also surprised the hell out of me. Sorry about that. So what's the story? Hmm? What story? I would have thought it'd be obvious. The story of you meeting with the queen. Whoa, wait, what? How did you... Did Alden tell you or something about this? Actually, I couldn't get him to tell me anything. But now I know anyway, don't I? Without prior knowledge, there's no way you could have just guessed. So how much do you really know? I guess it's finally time to show you this. Zin produced a letter from his pocket and handed it to Estelle and Joshua. What's this? I know this handwriting. Well, don't just stand there, read it. It'll explain a lot. Okay. Dear Zin Vatek, I hope this letter finds you well. I know I've been out of touch. I'm in a hurry, so I hope you'll pardon my bluntness. My work concerning the Jaegers is leading me to the Imperial territory. However, due to the fact that unusual forces seem to be influencing matters inside Liberl, I feel uneasy being absent for so long. This is why I must ask a favor of you. Could I persuade you to come to Liberl and help out if they need it? Since you haven't been to Liberl before, perhaps you could think of it as a recreational trip. There is a martial arts competition before the Queen's birthday celebration, and foreigners can participate. It would make fine camouflage. I realize that this is sudden, but if you can do it, I would be most grateful. I'm intending to return to Liberl before the festival, so hopefully we'll have a drink together when I return. Cassius Bright. P.S. You may have a chance to meet my son and daughter. They're currently apprentices at the guild, so if you happen to meet them, feel free to test the extent of their training. Try not to bail them out too much unless it seems like they really need it. So Dad actually asked you to come to Liberl, which means he's in Arabonia now. That's the long and short of it. The long and short of it? What does it mean that you were in the Wait, it means that you were in cahoots with them all along. Well, that's kind of a nasty way to put it, don't you think? I owed Master Cassius a favor from the time he spent in Calvert. The liar just gave me the chance to make a square again. I suppose. When did you realize that we were his kids? I had a feeling from the outset once I saw Estelle's technique with the bow staff. I asked Kilika about it, and that confirmed it. It would have been nice if you had said something about it at all. We've been worried sick, wondering where my dad would have been. I know, I'm sorry, I haven't said anything. But I got the impression from the letter that he was trying to keep his whereabouts secret. Still, you're definitely his kids, alright, if you can pull off a job as big as sneaking an audience with the Queen. I suppose so. He knows this much, it wouldn't hurt to tell him everything, right? I agree, it'd probably be best to fill in on everything. It's a bit far-fetched to say we could put an end to this whole situation on our own, after all. Estelle and Joshua told of how they managed to speak directly with the Queen, as well as the Queen's request to safely rescue Princess Claudia, soon to be Queen Claudia. I see. I thought something seemed a little off when everyone was talking at the party. Alright then, I'll help you out with this little request. You will? Yep, I think this is the ideal opportunity to sell my debt with Master Cassius. Please, let me help. We'd be glad to. Thank you once again. Time to save the princess. Ooh. What is this place? I never would have imagined that something like this even existed. That's a long chasm. Huh. It's larger than I expected. Lieutenant Lawrence, if you'd be so kind as to show us the way to the lowest level. Yes, sir. Whoa. Is that some kind of mechanical monster? Well, well. So these must be archaisms. Holy crow. You took out that thing in one stroke. You were the quickest to react. You are indeed truly a force to be reckoned with when you don't hold back. You flatter me, sir. Your quick draw technique as well was quite remarkable to behold. I could see that you've studied under the Divine Blade himself. I'm humbled. I still have a ways to go before I can really humble anyone, I'm afraid. But time waits for no man. The skills I possess now will have to be enough. My strength may be meager, but I must forge this kingdom's future with my own two hands. My brave men, the way to the ultimate power is open. A bright new dawn approaches for our beloved Liberal. I expect only the best of each of you. By your order, sir. We of the Special Ops will work as one for the Colonel. For the glory of Liberal! For the glory of Liberal! Nappy time. I understand the situation. You've both performed admirably. I'm amazed that you were able to deliver the Professor's message to Her Majesty in person. We just got lucky is all. The real question is how much longer is luck going to be on our side? Yes, we're really going to have to stay focused. If you understand that already, then there's nothing more that I need to tell you. In any case, we consider Professor Russell's request to be fulfilled. Please accept this as compensation for a job well done. First class gladiator belt! Now then, Zin, it's pure providence that Cassius invited you here. We need the help of an A-ranked bracer like yourself. No need to even ask. Even if I didn't have a debt to repay to Cassius, I couldn't possibly stand idly by in a situation like this. I'm with you to the end. I knew we could count on you, Zen. By the way, what's this A-rank business? It's a rank that signifies full-fledged bracers' full power. There are 7 ranks ranging from G to at the bottom up to A at the top. So he's the highest rank you can get? Wow, I never knew you were such a badass, Zen. Well, I may be A rank, but I'm still an underling, so to speak. There are 20 A rankers across the continent, and above that, there's an informal S rank. The only one's only granted to bracers who successfully resolve issues on a national scale. There are only 4 of those on the entire continent. Well, I'm not even sure I want to think about what they can do. You really don't know any of this stuff, do you? One of the 4 is Master Cassius. What? Okay, Joshua, you're not going to tell me you knew about this already, right? Right? Sorry, but yes, I did. You solved a major case for the Republic about 5 years ago. I swear, it's hardly worth even getting upset about anymore. Royal Army Soldier, Hidden Hero, Divine Blade, S-Rank Bracer. If he's really so damn awesome, then it sure would be nice if he'd come back and take care of this case. You may be right. If he were here with us, perhaps this would never have escalated to the point where a coup d'etat was even possible. Joshua, what's wrong? Just thinking about how strange this is. The whole chain of events apparently started with Dad going off on his trip. It's as if whoever planned the coup was waiting for him to be gone. At least it's just the impression I have. Oh. So what you're saying is that the coup was planned around his departure for the Empire. Am I correct? No, I'm sure that would be overthinking things. I can't think of anyone who could possibly manipulate Dad like that without him noticing he was being used. They'd have to know of him and his behavior patterns exceptionally well to be able to pull it off. Yeah. I never knew that what he was up to, even though he was so close. I don't think that Colonel Richard could even manage to pull the wool over his eyes. But more likely, it's just that 2 major events happened to overlap with each other. Regardless of the circumstances, we cannot currently rely on Cassius to help. Therefore, I am resolved to prepare for the worst. I believe an emergency conference of the Grantal branch of the Bracers Guild is called for. Huh? All other things being equal, we have a request that comes directly from Her Majesty the Queen. The 3rd article of the Bracer Code states that we shall never act in a fashion that interferes with the government. We cannot ignore Her Majesty's request, however, so we must act. But we are no match for the Royal Army as we are. I ask for the cooperation of all bracers in the Grantal, including Zin, of course. Okay. If we come in conflict with the intelligence division, we'll need all the help we can get. Ideally, we should have the cooperation of other branches, but the checkpoints have been completely sealed off as of today, ostensibly to foil any potential terrorist activity. What? So basically, it amounts to martial law. So the enemy is finally moving at full tilt. This may be to stifle any activity on the part of the Royal Guardsmen in hiding, as well as ourselves. If we're going to conduct a rescue operation, we'll have to do it with resources on hand. Well, fun, but we're up for it. So, do we have a solid idea of where the prisoners are being held? It's been on my mind for a while now, actually. I believe the most likely place to be the Arab Royal Villa. That's the building in the forest, right? It would make sense. If the soldiers are using it under the pretense of counterterrorism, few would question it. And I can't imagine they'd want to lock a lady of the royal family in a cell in Leyston Fortress. Considering it's the army we're going to be going against here, I'd like a more solid confirmation, however. If we sold the wrong place, we'd have hell to pay for it. Yes, precisely. But in either case, we must assemble any bracers currently in the royal city. Could I ask you to assemble them for me? Any information you could gather while doing so would be appreciated. If I'm not mistaken, Estelle, you and your friends are acquainted with a reporter, correct? Oh, you mean Neil? Yeah, we should see if he's picked up anything significant. Also, we must attempt to enlist the aid of the guardsmen who are in hiding. If you can get them get them to contact me, it would be greatly appreciated. So, in other words, we need to get in touch with Sister Julia. She helped us with the invitation before, so we should let her know what's going on. So, off to the cathedral then. There are 4 other bracers in the city: Kurt, Grant, Karna, and Annalise. Check the bars and their usual hangouts. They may also be in the hotel. If you see them, please instruct them to come back here. Sure thing! Alright, then off we go. Alrighty, let's go ahead. I'm going to give the gladiator belt to Joshua. So yeah, auto CP up means that it will just naturally increase as turns go by. I'm giving the headband to Estelle, since I want her to stay up front. She's hitting lots of people, and in turn getting attacked herself. So, I think I'm actually going to replace shield with defense 3 now. Yeah, that's what I thought. We've got a good bit of cash, but I'm more interested in quartz. Still low on basically everything. Let's not throw away what we've got. Alright, boop. You know what? We'll make a hit 3. There we go. And Eagle Eye, see enemies from a distance. I might want to. Can I make a HP 3? No, just barely. Alright, I think I might get more at this point out of an HP 3. I want to whatchamaniman I want the 3, but I'll have to sell for 2 for now. Hold on a second. Yeah, 3 will give access to a good bunch of stuff. Okay. What about if I give an action to for now? Alright. So oh, that was a cough. Alright, we basically have to go and check everywhere. Oh, Karna. Hi, Karna. Well, look who it is. Oh, you've got Old Man Zin with you. What's going on? Well, it's a long story. Oh, sounds serious. Explains why am I coughing so much now? Explain the situation in the Queen's request to Karna. You're not just pulling my leg, are you? I must admit, I did find it a bit odd that the gates and ports and such have been shut down. So, what do you want from me exactly? I need you to drink some water, narrator. Well, we need to get everyone together and formulate a plan. So if you would, please meet us at the guild. Gotcha. I'm already there. Bye-bye. Yo, I didn't even realize there was a room back here. Interesting. It's neat that they actually went to the effort of making a storage area back there. Actually, let me just double check. Is there anything I want to buy? We'll buy composites. We have a lot of money. You never know how much Win 5 defense will matter. Alright. Gransel, West Block. Hey, soldier boy. Cafe. Anyone in the cafe? No. Neil! No!
This is weird, Chief. We haven't heard anything in 2 days.
Well, he does tend to get completely wrapped up when he's looking for the next big story. But given how close we are to the state of martial law, I don't much like that he hasn't contacted us either.
Oh, hi, guys.
Hello, Dorothy. Pardon us. Well, if it isn't the Tournament Champions. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Liberal News. Neil and Dorothy have told me quite a bit about you two. It's Del and Joshua of the Racer Guild, right?
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I've always enjoyed your magazine. Well, that's always good to hear. Weren't you two doing something for Neil?
Oh, yes.
That's what we were just talking about. Actually, Neil hasn't shown up up here today or yesterday. No word from him or anything.
Huh? Yesterday or today?
We spoke with him in the evening 2 days ago.
Really? What do you mean, really? You gave us the message to meet him for Adios' sake.
We came here to talk to him after the semifinals.
Oh, right, now that you mention it. So, did he say anything to you? Like where he was going?
Someone had called him out. Right, I remember what happened. He got a call from someone, then he said he had to leave.
Are you serious?
Yes. We haven't seen hide nor hair of him since.
Oh no, I can't believe Neil's dead. He's dead. No, this is the only option. What? Who said he's dead?
The days when all the airliner traffic is shut down. Everything was normal yesterday, though, so maybe he went to another province? I've already inquired with the landing port's passenger registry, and there was no sign of him. So I figure he has to still be somewhere in town. You two were the last two to see this fellow reporter. Weren't you talking to him about something for the news article?
Huh?
These are the times we live in. Controlling the media is a big deal for the military. What do you think, Chief? I certainly can't argue with that. Particularly in the case of the intelligence division. They monitor and censor everything we do. You wouldn't believe how much frustrating it is. Which means that we can't get much information from your story. But it's in a reporter's nature to want to get as much as possible into the hands of the readers.
I see.
So we went to check out the new subject that the intelligence division hasn't started censoring yet.
Which was the last thing what was the last thing he told us about?
I think it was about tournament winners, arranged marriage, Princess Claudia, Julian Canonet's history. I believe it was arranged marriage. And the Duke mentioned something about it at the dinner party. Oh, Neil told you about that too? It made one hell of a story if it's true. He mentioned having to get some evidence at any cost. How did a reporter like Neil even learn about something like that? I'd have thought that something like that would have only the royal family.
Well, he did say he's friends with someone who works in Arab royal villa. Completely off the record, but the terrorists are supposedly after the princess. So she's secretly staying in the villa for her own safety. I knew it.
And the veil is lifted. Maybe the person he was talking to was his friend in the villa. Which would mean that Neil's probably there too. You don't say. Well, if I know Neil, he's probably tried to worm his way in for an interview with the princess. And if the soldiers saw them, they'd arrest him on the spot.
No, Neil's a goner. He's dead again. No, twice in one day. Why do you keep coming back to that? But if he has been arrested, getting him out isn't going to be easy.
Yeah. I'm betting that he and Princess Claudia are pretty much in the same situation. What exactly do you people know? Do you have some inside information about what's going on in the city and all of the borough?
Sorry, but we can't really talk about it.
Just let the Bracer Guild take care of Neil. If he's been arrested, we'll see to it that he's released. All right. Please do whatever you can.
Please, you guys. You gotta bring Neil back. Don't let him die. No.
Leave it to us.
Neil's dead.
Stop killing me off.
I can't believe it. My boy, Neil, he died.
Mr. Ellen, perchance? I believe the Archbishop should be nowhere whereabouts. He should be in the second chamber southeast of this room. So, which way south? This way is south. Okay. This way is south. Alright. Upstairs? And who might you be? We're members of the Bracer Guild. The Bracer Guild. Yes, we're bracers from the Bracer Guild. I mean, we were looking for Sister Ellen. Who are you now? Might I guess that you share complicity with her then? What, with the nun? Ew, no! He's asking if we know her real identity still. We're here for the information she asked us to find. I'm sorry, but to say that she's no longer at the cathedral. She came to say goodbye to me this morning and left. Where to? I mean, do you have any idea where she might have gone? If only I did. I've been close with the royal family for many years, and she's always regarded me as a friend and confidant. But this time, she refused to give me any details. So she no doubt wished to keep the church from getting too deeply involved in whatever's occurring. I see. I wouldn't worry, though. She had the light of hope in her eyes as she departed. I'm confident that she was not running away to wallow in despair, but for a more noble cause. That's good, at least. But the thing is, we kind of need to stay in touch with the Royal Guardsmen. Well, begging for rain in the desert only gets you sand. We should probably go. The best thing we can do is covertly keep an eye out for other Royal Guardsmen. Not the most efficient plan, but that seems to be all we've got. You seem to be between a rock and a hard place, as I say. Always remember that Adios helps those who help themselves. Do all you can, and Adios will surely take care of the rest. Hard and honest work will always lead you down the right path. Yeah. That's a belief I can get behind it. You know, basically, like, yeah, we help after everything you do. You still have to try. It's not just like, oh, yes, Adios, I believe in you, Adios, therefore, you just do all the work. Like, nah, man, you got work too. Adios is a busy lady. So, let's see here. So, there's Neoshera and then Karna. So, we need to go and find Kurt, Grant, and Annalise. I said to check out the bars and the hospital, the hotels. Kurt the Bracer has returned, but he looked like a bit on the pallid side. I hope he's alright. Kurt! 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 Kurt? Kurt? You're not in our room, right, Kurt? 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 I literally picked the correct room last. New record. I wish I could remember that time a little better. It's like there's a thick fog blanketing the whole thing. Oh, hi, Kurt. It's good to see you here. Oh, hi, Estelle. Hi, Joshua. Oh, and Zin's with you, too. Didn't know that we were going to be, did you know that we were going to the dinner party at the castle yesterday? That was when these two rookies took on a pretty major assignment. What major assignment? I think it's best if we tell you more or less the story. Joshua explained all the circumstances that had led to the request from the Queen. You're serious? Of course we are. That's why we really need your help. No, that's not it. I admit I'm shocked at Her Majesty requested you. But the black orbment that the Colonel has, it's real? Kurt? What's wrong? You look awfully pale. Ugh. Ugh. Ah! Whoa! What in the world? Step away from him. Jade? Lift! I will punch the devil out of you. What was that? You didn't even touch him and he acted like he got electrocuted. It's a special spirit channeling breath technique. It allows the user to directly affect the target's body without direct physical contact. I don't normally like to do so, I normally don't like to be so rough, but time isn't exactly on our side. I mean, he does have a move where he heals a party member of all the stats effects and gives them like 800 HP. So like this is an ability that he's shown. Like it's one of his crafts. How are you feeling? Wow, actually a lot better. I can't remember every detail, but a good bit of it's coming back. I'm a little unsteady from the shock, but I think I'll be alright.
So, what do you remember?
Didn't I say so before? There was an accident about 3 months ago.
You lost your memories while you were working, right?
Yes, someone had asked me to check up on those men in the black outfits, and then I took something suspicious from them. It was the Black Orbment.
Huh? So the person who gave you the assignment?
Yes, it was your father, Cassius. You see, your father... your dad basically sets up, like, everything in this game. I wasted no time in packing it up and sending it up to him. But that's really as far back as I can remember.
So the K on the package was you!
Yes, I think I was... I also remember there was being a note that said to have Professor Russell analyze it. I get it. The package was delivered to you two.
Do you remember anything after that?
Anything that happened after you sent the package off? Yes, after I left the port, someone called out to me, and then... It's no good. It's all still one big blur. You're probably best off not pressing your luck. It's likely to cause strain that you just can't handle yet. Yes, you're all right. I'm really just amazed that I was able to remember anything at all.
Which brings us to a bigger question. Who would have done this? Maybe the special ops guys?
It's possible. They did use that nasty poison on Agate after all. It's as if they're manufacturing and testing new drugs. Maybe they made something that would cause memory loss?
Now there's a cheerful thought. Plus, there's the Sky Bandits boss and Mayor Dalmore to consider. We have to be really careful.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything to really useful to tell you. I know Her Majesty asked you to do I know what Her Majesty asked you to do. I want to help, if you'll let me.
But are you sure you'll be okay?
Sure, my memory may be like the sea, but physically I'm fine. I owe you for your help, so please allow me to make it up to you. If you're feeling up to it, then sure. We need to work out a strategy for now. Let's meet back at the guild. Alright, you have my thanks. Glad you're okay, Kurt. We have to protect our headband, boys. I believe it. Alright, pub. I feel like Olivia's gonna be in here.
Oh, were you looking for me? I'm glad that you found me. It's time for us to go on a grand adventure together. Hey, it's Grant. Well, if it isn't the Big Bad Champions. I heard you guys spent the night at the castle. Frankly, I'm surprised to see you back so early.
Did you eat anything good?
Yeah, we did, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
No? Something on your mind? We explained the situation right in front of this lady who's working the bar. I sure hope she didn't hear.
Holy crap, you're not pulling my leg, are you?
We're not. Every word is true. I'd stake my reputation on it. If it's in the immovables moved by this, there's all the proof I need. I'll do whatever I can to help. You can count on it.
Thanks, Grant.
Well, I'll be meeting at the guild house to plan our strategies as soon as possible. So if you please head over to there when you can.
Understood. Go well, friends. I'll catch up with you there.
Now we just need to find Annalise. I think she's at like, isn't it like the mall or something like that? Man, there are a lot of guards.
Anton!
Man, I feel kind of bad that I've missed all of the Anton events. My boy Anton and Ricky over here are like series staples of just like roaming the land. Someone like Ricky would never be able to understand the passion that dwells deep within me. Somebody save me.
Right now, Anton's not talking to me, but we all go through patches like this sometimes, you know?
It's okay. I believe. I believe in Anton and Ricky, their friendship. You shall overcome all of life's trials. Alice, are you in here? There you are.
Well, if it isn't then in the new recruits.
I almost said newbies again.
Back from the castle already? Yeah, I guess we are.
Annalise, could we have a moment of your time?
Huh? You hear something juicy you're looking to share with me? Well, if by juicy you mean spit your juice all over in shock, then yeah.
It's a real juice bomb.
Ooh, you have my undivided attention. Should we be talking about this here, or should I be sitting down for it?
Huh? Just to make it absolutely clear, this isn't a joke. Things could get serious in a big hurry, and if they do, we'll need your help.
Well, let's see. Sorry my head's just a little scrambled from how screwed up this whole situation is. I don't really get all of this, but you want everyone to meet at the guild house, right? Right, Alan will fill you in on the details. Okay then, I'll go and see what's up. Boom!
Runs into a light post or something on the way. Alright, that's everybody. That's the 4 of them. Yep, Neil and Schwartz. So now, I believe it is finally time for planning time. Let's save real quick, because it's been a hot minute. As in, I don't think we've saved at all this stream yet, so... The other bracers are already assembled. Have you heard from the Royal Guardsman or the reporter?
Sorry, sir, no contact.
But we believe we've gathered the intelligence we need. Joshua explained everything they heard from the Cathedral and Liberal News HQ.
I see. We can conclude with fair certainty, then, that Princess Claudia is inside the villa.
It's unfortunate that you were unable to make contact with the Royal Guardsmen, but at least we know they haven't been captured. Shall we get started then? Yes. We need to start working out the details of the rescue operation. Yo, that fireplace over there. Are we all up to date on the pertinent details of the Intelligence Division's planned coup d'etat, then? Given this information, we should consider ourselves under contractual obligation to Queen Alicia. I can barely believe what I'm hearing. I'm ashamed of myself for not noticing something was amiss sooner.
I was suspicious of those special ops troops from the very beginning, but I really trusted Colonel Richard.
And he was behind the Sky Bandits and Mayor Dalmore. We got completely snowed.
And we can't really get away with it. Yeah, and we can't let him get away with it, that's for sure.
Can you all be counted on to cooperate with this task?
Damn straight!
Just lead the way. I owe these guys some black eyes, rhyme unintended.
Count me in for sure. This is gonna be good.
We've got strong allies. We'll prevail without a doubt. Now let me explain the details of the mission. We want to move fast, as there are still lives at stake here. It's not the most elegant approach, but I believe taking control of the villa through a frontal assault is our best option. We don't have the time to try and find a route to infiltrate, so I guess that's the only option we got. How will we be divided? We'll split into 2 groups, and a decoy and a rescue team. The decoy will draw the attention of the main force. The rescue team will make its way into the villa. Remember, though, we're dealing with the Intelligence Division Special Ops here. If I may, I'd suggest that we also add an ambush team to aid of the decoy team, and a second decoy team to assist of the rescue team.
And really teaming up with teams here, but why do we need those?
The ambush team would lie in wait until the decoy team draws out the enemy forces, and then both teams could attack at once. Meanwhile, the second decoy team would attempt to break the enemy's ranks, allowing the rescue team to enter the villa more easily.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Evens the odds a little bit. But, do we have enough members to spread among 4 squads?
No, we don't. We've contacted other guild branches, but without airships grounded, we're pretty much on our own.
Well, crap. If only we had Sharon and Agate.
However, I agree with Finn that trying to carry out this operation with only 2 squads is risky. We need to re-examine this strategy.
If numbers are what you lack, maybe we could be of assistance.
Hey!
Lieutenant Schwartz!
Well, now, if it isn't the system of the military.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Royal Guardsman Subcommander Lieutenant Julius Schwartz.
The Royal Guardsmen are here at your disposal for this operation. Understood. Your participation will be most invaluable. I count 9 soldiers in your squad, including yourself. My remaining troops are incognito, stationed all throughout the city. I could assemble them within the hour.
That's great, but Lieutenant Schwartz, how did you know we were going to try and save the hostages?
We tried to find you at the cathedral and tell you, but you had already disappeared.
Did you?
My apologies. All I knew was that you had accepted the Queen's mission. I found out last night.
Last night? We only just met with the Queen last night ourselves.
Yes, I'm aware of that. We have sources for military intelligence of the sort. All that matters now is that Her Highness gave us the orders to assist. we are happy to do it.
Sources? I want sources. Can I share some of yours?
I don't... Leave it as a no, Estelle. More importantly, the Guardsman's assistance will give us the extra forces we need to fill the ambush and support teams.
Indeed, with some additional manpower, I believe our chances of success have increased exponentially.
And with the extra manpower secured, we should start deciding on teams immediately.
Roger that.
We need 2 decoy teams, right? I believe 5 of my troops should be sufficient for one of them.
I'd say those Royal Guards uniforms would definitely catch their attention.
My thoughts exactly. We'll target the intelligence division's aerial squadron, stationed just on the outskirts of their scenic group.
Wait a second, aerial squadron? You don't mean...
I'm afraid she does. It's on the scenic route's outskirts. Now that you mention it, there is a stretch of land out there that's been completely blockaded.
According to my intelligence, there's
only a skeleton crew of guards stationed there. If we attack, they will have no alternative but to call the Ville for reinforcements.
Ooh, I get it. That's some good decoying right there. And then, when the reinforcements show up, the ambush team pops in and takes them all out, right?
We should form that ambush team then.
I know all those years hunting down monsters in the bush should pay off one day.
And we've got a gunner too. We'd be able to handle this no problem. Alright, 2 teams locked down. Now for rescue and decoy 2. I think the second decoy team should be comprised of my Royal Guardsmen. The Spec Ops will definitely drop their guard more readily to apprehend them.
So that leaves us
for the rescue team. All the other teams will be acting to provide cover for us. Ours will be the most important assignment on the field by far. This is no game. You're playing an actual role and crucial turning point for our history. Make sure you're up to the task.
Sheesh, no pressure.
There's no need to worry. We will persevere. History favors the just. Besides, you guys are Grand Soul Martial Arts competition champions. And well, the ones keeping the majority of the enemy forces, and will be the ones keeping the majority of the enemy forces at busy. Hopefully, all you need to worry about are the hostages.
Yulia, Alden, Zin,
We, Estelle. The word you're looking for is we. We can do this, and we will.
You're right. You're so right. We're gonna kick some special ops special asses.
That's the spirit. And that's the plan. The operation will begin at nightfall. We'll use the dark for cover. Once the operation begins, you won't have any opportunity to return to the city. So if you have any loose ends to tie up, speak now or forever hold your peace.
That's getting pretty real.
I will ensure that Her Highness is made aware of the plan. Alright everyone, tonight, here, got it? I'll leave the bar breaking and entering to you guys. What? You could totally handle this.
Looks like you haven't had a moment's rest for everything since everything started. Take a minute now and get everything squared away.
We're only ones who can possibly pull this off, so let's get pulling.
Intelligence is resorting to using hostages? That's just disgusting. Let's go save our princess.
Ideally, I would want to go and build up some craft points beforehand, but I think we will jump right into it. Huh, you're here, good. Once the operation begins, you won't have an opportunity to return to the city. So if you still have loose ends to tie up, speak now or forever hold your peace. Understood. Let's review the operation.
So, are we going to meet back here?
Well, this is the Emberal Monument rest area, so it should be the place. The only real issue is whether or not Lieutenant Schwartz and her men can get here undetected. No need to worry on that front.
Well, when did you get here?
Nice work staying hidden in Gransel. We have quite a few sympathizers among the citizens. We've finished our preparations. We can begin whenever you're ready. Alright? We're waiting on your orders, Estelle.
Huh? My orders?
You were the one who originally received Her Majesty's request.
So, we're waiting on your command before we begin. But I'm just a rookie.
That really doesn't matter. I don't think you'll have a problem.
Just do it without shouting, okay?
We'll be there to help. We have no objections. I, have a little faith in yourself. Don't worry about the trivial details. Just deal with things as they come.
Right, Okay then, here goes. Everyone, let's get those hostages rescued!
I'm so freaking hungry. Isn't it time to change shifts yet? Come on, stay focused. There's no telling when the Royal Guardsmen might finally show themselves. They weren't more than 10 escapees. If the Colonel really put his mind to it, we could hunt the whole lot of them down in no time. If you think it's so easy, then go ahead and try. What? Lieutenant Shores! Listen up. We have word from the ID ship. We apparently have a lock on Royal Guardsmen. If we can get there quickly, this will be our chance to wipe them out. Roger. Roger, roger. That settles that. Idiots. The airship's locked down. You'll never be able to use it. If you'd just done as the Colonel said, we could have spared your lives. But now you're going to die, and you've only got your own stubbornness to blame. Take this. Bracers! You can't be serious. You're not actually going to try standing against the Royal Army. Sorry to disappoint you, but you've already been marked as criminals. By the order of the Queen, you will let us pass. The ambush party is on the move. We'll go ahead and lure the remaining forces into the front gardens. You can break into the villa while we're distracted. Sounds good. Adios be with all of you. Yo, that loop around. I will not fall in the lake, you will! You threw our friend into the pond, but I shall assist you, comrades! There's just something really charming about the way these, like, combat encounters are sort of, like, animated, with, like, the hopping and moving, and, like, just kind of using animations we already have. Alright, looks like they went for it. Now's our chance to sneak in. Okay, roger that. Charge! So this is their royal villa. It's gorgeous. Certainly gives you the castle run for its Mira. Well, it is a royal family residence. Oops, looks like the welcoming committee's here. Who are you people? You don't need our names. Words will serve no purpose here. Let's go. Bring it on. Why'd you get a crit starting out? That's not fair. Alright, well... That'll work. Need a little bit more before I can do a good old-fashioned taunt. Yup. Uh-oh. Okay, they're still in range. Man, I never get to seal proc on those. Alright. Taunt.
Hey, over here! What? You yellow?
Are you guys the color yellow? Do you hate that I called you the color yellow? Act now for your chance to be beat up. Alright, boop. Yo, that 45 damage. Zin's just over here body blocking like AK fire. Meanwhile, the actual knives deal 0 damage. One more. Ooh, you did 36 with a crit. Bye-bye.
We're good to go.
Now, where's the princess being held? This place is huge. We'll just have to search it room by room. If we just hang around here, you bet there's going to have more company, and soon. Let's make a move on. Alrighty. I wonder if there's chests we can... What? Who are you people? Halt! Don't move a muscle. There's like a chest we go and pillage. It's like, oh, don't worry, it's mine now. How many can I hit with an evil eye? I'll take it. Bam, bam. Miss. We need to get some points up for my boys and... I think, now that I think about it, I think Zen is the only one who has an actual, like, healing spell equipped. Ooh, insta-kill proc on that spear.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Not fun, attacked out of nowhere. Looks like there's still quite a few soldiers in the building. They're patrolling the corridor and the central courtyard periodically. Only option would be silencing anyone who sees us. Alright, let's get heal in. Alright, there's a door here. Okay, I can turn the camera. Oh, I think it's a thing of like, if you go in and out of doors, like every time you go in and out, like a certain number of times, it'll go and just make baddies appear. Man, Joshua just gets to use his stuff so much with this. I love it. Bye-bye. Okay. What if this? Boy. Slice attack. All of those Sepith, it's dropping tons like that because it drops them based off of the hit count, and we get those even when it's an enemy that does the attack.
We're good to go.
Like, see all that? That's because he decided to unload on us. Oh wait, I just went in and out the same door. I'm dumb. Let's get some heat off the others. And alright, Wakahena away. I summon evil bats from the purple dimension. There we go. gun can still do an AoE to hit multiple people, like this. And Le Punch. And smack. Alright. Yeah, it's a good. I guess it's a good thing I didn't go and spend time building up points beforehand. Right. Here's another Latir. No one's in this room. Fancy artifacts. Oh, more guys.
Hey, over here! What? You yellow?
Ooh, that guy does not care about being called the color yellow. He likes being yellow. Truly a fearsome foe. One who does not fear the color yellow. Alright. I wonder if a flicker could get all three. No. Still get two though. And a hurricane for good measure. I'll take it. It's like if you don't keep up an active, like if you don't like use up craft every turn, then you're going to go and get stuff like immediately.
Who are you people? Crap, we totally picked the wrong room.
What are you doing here?
I just seen you before.
Good evening, we're the Bracers Guild.
Huh?
No need to get yourselves up, just enjoy yourselves and rest well. We're gonna knock you to the ground anyways. Preemptive attack. Activate the power of yellow.
Hey, over here! What? You yellow?
Can I get the gunman? I can. And hurricane again. That dude in the center has just dodged 2 attacks in a row. He is truly something else. The taunt was probably not necessary with that being a preemptive strike, but oh well.
Savor the victory. We own.
Ooh, level up. Whew, that's taking care of that. They're too drunk to really know what's going on. If it's like we're at some kind of bar, same as the one in the castle.
Please don't kill me.
I'm not with them. We know that. You work at the villa, right? We've come to help at the request of Her Majesty the Queen.
Really? You're honestly here to save us?
Yep. So would you calm down already?
Well, Adios be praised. I thought I was done for when my reporter friend was taken away. I hope he's alright.
Reporter friend? You must be Neil.
You know him?
Still explained that Neil had gone missing and was still unaccounted for. Ah, I see. Yes, I'm the one who contacted him. He came to gain energy with the princess who was being guarded here. The passion for work is hard to argue with, so I wound up sneaking him in and showing him the way. But he was spotted and taken prisoner. Yeah, much to my shame, it was only then that I realized the severity of the situation. I heard that Her Majesty was being kept here to protect her from any potential terrorist assaults. The truth is that she's being held prisoner by the intelligence division. I'm so glad that she was simply, I was so glad that she was coming that I simply never occurred to me. I'm truly unfit for my position. Come on, there's no need to be so depressed. Would you happen to have any idea where the prisoners are being held? Yes, they're being gathered in the crest room, which is the innermost chamber. It's a large banquet hall used for the events like formal signings of treaties. Got it. Alright then, let's check it out. Yeah, this guy will let us rest. So if we really were like, I must train now, like, you could totally just do it in that room. It's locked. Ah, no. Seems pretty solid, and the locking mechanism is quite secure. We definitely won't be able to get in without a key. Maybe we should go talk to that young Chamberlain. Might be a good idea. Elle explained that the door was locked. Oh, so it's locked then. The key is normally in possession of the Intelligence Division Company Commander. I believe he left when the terrorists showed up. Huh? Which means he is taken by the one who ambushed Lieutenant Schwartz and her men. Not good. There's no time to go back. Just a moment. There's a spare key to that door. It's here somewhere. Memory serves, I believe it's hidden somewhere in the gallery. Roger that. Gallery. Let's hurry. Gallery. Okay. No. I believe the gallery, wasn't it like... It was like one of the corner ones. Like here? No. Guards!
God. Yeah.
And bada boom. Nice miss. Alright, back. Let's get rid of this gunman. Honestly, they're more of a pain than the others are. Alright, and... Oop, there we go. And that means they won't get the crit. Alright, Estelle's all filled up. Ooh, nice heal. And bop. Bye-bye.
Piece of cake.
Alright, I think it was here then. Yeah. Stone Company found something attached to its other side. Spare key. That's it! Now we should be able to open the inner door. Let's go. More dudes. They do not let up. I think I will taunt here.
Hey, over here. What? You yella?
And hurricane. Yeah. Let's get some more points back for my boy. Doesn't work if you miss though. Might as well dual strike then. Yikes. And bop you to your doom. My dude's getting to attack twice. And bam. Just does the miss when you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do, and then it's just like, ah. Alright, that'll do it.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Alright. Let's have my boys in heal one more time. Let's go. Who are you? Why'd you look so familiar? Hey, you guys won the martial arts competition. You mean you're with the Bracer Guild? Yeah, that's right. I don't suppose we could persuade you to just forget you saw us. Shut it! We're defenders of the impregnable fortress. You wanted it past us, you have to go through us. Okay. Alright, let's lead with the dual strike. And a taunt. I wonder if these guys are immune.
What? You yella?
They've resisted it, yeah. Okay. No taunts allowed. Ow! Man, these guys hit hard. Get out of here. And you just love spamming that one move.
I'm sorry.
Alright. Uh-huh. I don't think it will reach Joshua, but it's still better than doing nothing.
We're good to go.
You know, in hindsight, I should have targeted Estelle for this. Alright. Alright, I am not letting this guy get a hold of that critical, so I am I'm gonna S-break there. Just a little more. There we go.
Alright, we're good to
Definitely
go.
tough dudes. Alright. Just be safe. I'm gonna give you one of these. Alright. You! Yo, we're here to save your bacon. Hello, Neil. You don't look too bad in shape. You don't look to be in too bad of a shape. Are you serious? Estelle, Joshua,
I never thought I'd see you here. Huh? You're the princess. It's a pleasure to meet you. We're with the Bracer Guild. I think it's a little late for introductions. So we meet again, as promised. Chloe! Estelle, I sincerely hope you're joking. You ought to have recognized me sooner. But, not with the dress and the hair and the things? What happened?
Pardon us, Chloe. Estelle doesn't know how to doubt people.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean? There's the Estelle I know. And Joshua? You're still using that name for me? You'll still use that name for me?
Yes, since it seems to be the one you prefer. Would you rather use your real name?
No, but thank you. I'm glad to hear it.
Okay, so what are you doing here, Chloe?
And for that matter, why isn't the princess here?
She's right in front of you. That's the queen's granddaughter, Princess Claudia.
But... What? I'm sorry I couldn't tell you. I had planned to tell both of you the truth when we met in Gransel, but when Colonel Richard had me detained... But why? Why would the princess be hiding out in an ordinary school? And why did you have us call you Chloe? And I'd like you to keep calling me that. My real name is Claudia von Alslies. Chloe's a pet name that Jill came up with using bits of my whole name. Really? So what about your hair? Oh, this is just a wig. If I had the same hairdo as when I was on campus, it would probably just create trouble.
Can't believe I missed the connection myself. I've seen your picture often enough. I remember when you were from the Mayor's Scandal in Rouen, but I never put two and two together.
I'm sorry. It doesn't seem that Uncle Dunnan or Mayor Dalmore recognized me either.
Oh yeah, the Duke's even related to you.
Oh, I forgot something important.
Estelle explained the whole story, including how they came to rescue Chloe at the Queen's behest.
I see. To all three of you, I extend my deepest gratitude for coming to rescue me.
It was nothing. Heck, if we'd known that it was Chloe in here, no one would have had to ask us.
Estelle.
No doubt. You should have saved your thanks for Her Majesty, as she's the one who deserves them. She had no concern for herself, just that we should save you. I think your safety will give her the strength to resist the Colonel's demand, though doing so may endanger her life.
Yes, that is her way. If something is not done, then she is in grave danger.
I think I've seen enough of this little farce.
Princess! Rian! What the? She's General Morgan's granddaughter. He's imprisoned at Hocken Gate. I'd say they're taking her to keep her from causing trouble. Keep him from causing any trouble.
Just as they did with you and Her Majesty. This isn't just some idle threat. Every man in Special Ops has a dream, and we will stop at nothing to achieve it.
And that's something you're proud of? I'll make you a deal, Sergeant. Please take me as your hostage rather than the child.
Not a chance. I know I said we'll stop at nothing, but even we don't have the nerve to harm a member of the royal family. General Morgan's grandkid, on the other hand, suits our needs just fine. She's a valuable hostage, and it's not going to cause any real problems if she was to end up getting hurt.
You're a monster.
I'd have said coward myself. Pathetic, disgusting, thick. Pick an advocate. I said thick. Sick. You can talk all you want. It's almost time for the patrols to return from Royal Avenue. Then we can round up the guardsmen and the bracers. Not bad for one night's work.
Oh, I'm afraid that won't be happening. We already took your buddies out on their way over here.
Yeah!
What? There. It's all right. Hi, you two. Long time no see. Shara? You came.
Damn it all, who the hell do you think you are?
Some people just have no manners.
Ah!
Think of that as my special gift.
That was just cruel. Man got shot, lifted up into the air, and slammed into the wall with a whip. He is dead. You just witnessed a homicide.
Hey, who fired that shot?
Olivia, I guess.
Bingo! And the star makes his dramatic entrance. Please hold your applause until after the performance has ended. And the drama turns into a comedy. Ah, nice seeing you again, Charizard. It's been a long time. Indeed it has. I never thought I'd find you in La Burle. But I'm honestly quite relieved when I heard that you'd fallen in with Estelle and Joshua. Well, I think you're overestimating my capabilities like usual. As for you, you've only become more beautiful. I barely even recognized you. Oh, really? I'm suddenly brimming over with something akin to jealousy. Am I merely a toy to be used when convenient and cast aside when boredom sets in? Hey, Olivia. Ina's been wanting to see you. She's hoping to go all out on drinks again. Forgive me, I've committed a grave offense. I swear none of you ever change. I'm glad to see you, Shara. But I thought the Royal Army had their checkpoints completely sealed off. Yes, but we crossed Valeria Lake by a boat and docked at Grantsville Harbor. That's one way around the problem. But how did you wind up falling in with the failed traveling musician? We ran into each other at the local guild branch. He was like a lost puppy, so I didn't have much of a choice other than to bring him along. Ha ha ha! I simply couldn't allow such an amusing and interesting show to go on without me. And may I ask who this fair lady is? Oh, right introductions. This is the Queen's granddaughter, Her Highness Princess Claudia. She's a friend of ours. It's a pleasure to meet both of you. Thank you very much for coming to help me. Think nothing of it. I'm simply doing my duty as a bracer. And I could scarcely consider myself a gentleman if I did not leap to the aid of a lovely lady of noble birth. The honor and pleasure at this meeting is entirely my own. Your Highness, are you well? Julia, Sieg. Scree! 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 I can't do a scree. I'm sorry. Scree! 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 Good, I'm happy to see you again. Thank goodness you're unharmed. I was so worried. The feeling is mutual. Before long, the bracers involved in the diversion and the Royal Guardsmen joined forces. After seeing to it that they rescued the hostages, gave them rest, Estelle and company gathered to assess the current situation. Aqua time. Drink some water if you haven't yet. Words cannot express my shame. If not for my ineptitude, none of this would have come to pass. I am so ashamed I could take my own life were it something to be permitted. Please do not say such things. I'm just happy to see you alive and unharmed. Thank you for coming to save me. Your Highness. Not that I'm not moved by all this, but I have to ask, why is Sieg here? Scream? He is Her Highness's escort, as well as her messenger for the Royal Guardsmen. After all, did he not deliver the letter to your hotel? Oh, that night! I thought it might have been him. That must also be how you learned of Her Majesty's request. Yes, I heard of it from Sieg. Her Majesty sent word through him from the royal keep. But the crest room in which the Princess Claudia was held had no windows for Sieg to use. I was very worried when I was unable to make contact. You just gave me a heart attack, though, when you sent that message to us. See, that was just plain mean of you to leave that letter and not let us know it was you. Scree. He says he's sorry. It's okay. By the way, have all the special ops troops been dealt with? Almost all of the soldiers in the villa have been restrained. However, there are quite a few left in Grantsville Castle. Much of the army is under Intelligence Division control, even outside of Grantsville. If we're not careful, we run the risk of them seizing control of this building and branding us all as rebels. Wow, I hadn't even thought about that. It's a good point. I think it would be best if we were to get Chloe to a safer location, at the very least. Perhaps we could seek asylum at the Erebonian or Republican embassies? Since they're considered foreign territory, it would make it very difficult for them to lay a hand on her. There's also that special ops ship that was seized nearby. We could use that to allow her to flee the country for the time being. It wouldn't solve the whole problem, but it would buy us some time to find a better solution, at the very least. I agree. Regardless, we need to find some way to get her to safety. Everyone? I understand the difficulties of the current situation, but would it be possible to make an official request of the bracers? What? The hostages have been rescued, so I think it'll be alright. Of course, it depends on what the contents of the request are. If so, I must ask of you to do the impossible. Will you help in retaking the royal castle and rescuing Her Majesty? Your Highness. I see. That's right. This is the time we have to help the Queen. This time we have to help the Queen. To be honest, I considered the question to be ridiculous, but the answer is obvious. But Your Highness, this is no small thing you're asking for. Quite right. There's no chance that a frontal assault would work, even with the capabilities of everyone here. I think that captured special ops ship has potential, but we're going to need some kind of clever, seriously clever trick. I have an idea. If anyone would please look at this. Princess Claudia produced a very old-looking map. Huh? What's this map of? It's an ancient diagram of the sewers below Grancel. One of the things it lays out is the path that leads to the castle cellar. What is the meaning of this? How can we have lost contact with Erb Royal Villa? Most likely it has fallen to external forces, either the guardsmen or the bracers. Those interfering little! Were you not in command of the division, Second Lieutenant? It's a pity, but what's done is done. Obsessing about it now will accomplish nothing. Furthermore, we strengthen the castle's defenses to ensure that Her Majesty is not taken. I did not need you to tell me that. I want the castle gates sealed. Not a soul is to enter from here on out. The only attacks I should need to worry about are those ones that come from the sky. Yes, ma'am. Once that's done, scrape up every troop from wherever you can find them, anywhere in the borough, and send them to the villa. Priority 1 is to subjugate the terrorists who deceived the royal family. Yes, ma'am. Nicely done. Of course it was. I've served with this unit for some time, unlike you. I swear I will protect this castle with while His Excellency is absent, no matter the cost. Absent, you say? Okay, here's how we're going to free Grancel Castle and the Queen. First, Joshua and the 2 others will infiltrate the Grancel sewers. You will proceed to the Royal Guard room and open the castle gate. Got it. Time to light a few fireworks. Huh? Well, it does seem appropriate for the beginning of the final act. As soon as the gates are open, the guardsmen and the four bracers will make their way to the castle by the streets. We need to make a real spectacle to draw all the guards together in one place. You're in good hands. Alright, I've been looking forward to this. And finally... Your Highness, are you certain I cannot get you to reconsider? I'm sorry, but I must be there to help my grandmother. Also, I know how to pilot an airship. I hope to be able to put that skill to good use. If I'd known this would have happened, I would have never taught you. It's okay, Lieutenant. We'll look after Chloe for you. I swear I swear she'll be kept safe where my name isn't a silver streak. I understand, but please do what you can. Once the men inside the castle have been infiltrated into one area, Estelle and her team will set down at the garden terrace. Then they will break into the Queen's room and rescue her. Roger! Both operations will begin at the stroke of the noon bell. Everyone is to remain on alert until then. Alright, you have your tasks. Get to them. Dismissed. Yes, ma'am. Joshua, please be careful. Don't go taking any unnecessary risks. I'll be fine. And you try to be on your best behavior. Don't overestimate your own strength, and make sure you watch Shara's back. I understand. Whatever happens, remember our promise. If we meet each other again, safe and sound in Grancel Castle. Count on it. Joshua, there's no telling what kinds of creatures inhabit the sewers. Please take the utmost care. I know, and I will. And don't worry about Estelle. You've grown so much during this trip of yours. Not just in your skills and bracer qualifications, but in your hearts. So it seems to me. Shara?
What does that mean?
It's nothing. Save it for later.
Even in times of crisis, you always can count on these two brats. Quite so. Now I think we'll be heading out. May we meet again, my lovelies. Adios be with you. Joshua. Hey, princess. Do you ever wonder if those two have some kind of destiny in store for them?
Yes, the thought has crossed my mind. They always have a smile for each other. I have to admit, I'm even a tiny bit envious.
Guards on massive patrol. Looks like the regular soldiers have been replaced with spec op guys. The enemy's probably gotten quite desperate since we liberated the villa. Security seems a lot tighter than normal. Perhaps I can loosen them up with the dulcet tones of my lute? You do anything conspicuous and the guys will be on you faster than you can say off key. Mueller, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
You two must rather not go near the Erebonian embassy. It could be quite dangerous.
Yes, quite perilous indeed.
Well, neither of us has the time to drop by there. Once operations are complete, we have to get inside the sewers. Alright. This is the first time that we're doing an operation without Estelle and Joshua, like, together. It's rather interesting, to be perfectly honest. Alright. Let's say a specific one, and then it's enter the sewers. Alright. Our equipment's good. I don't have any need to really change it. So, let's get into the sewer. I'm not sure which is the way. Which is the right one? Now let's see. I believe it would be in our best interest to confirm the location of the secret waterway. You're right. Please wait a moment. We're currently at the staircase over here on the lower left. And the entrance to the hidden waterway is where the equal mark is depicted in the center. Oh, there it is. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Right. So first we need to go to the spot and examine the wall. Or hang right, and then take a left. Yeah, okay. I've got a vague idea of how to get there. Thankfully, we know these enemies. It's definitely a good thing I decided to take Haze off of Estelle now that I think about it, considering these dudes, like, I don't have a map. Speaking of maps, where's the sewer map? Alright. We've crossed over, we take a left. Take a left passage, forward. Did we never get that over there? This way a second. Ooh. Or was it this one? Here we go. And then I think it's like over here. And then like over here. I think I'm lost. Let's open the chest first, I guess. Yeah, I get the impression that there's like zero reason to be afraid right now against these things. The only problematic element would be if Death Blow gets activated, which I should probably give Zen a anti-death blow, all things considered. Defense up, won't matter. How much scrap points we getting, boys? Yo, that's a solid 50. I should punch the other one. Oh well. Bye-bye. Hawkeye. Ooh, gun. Alright, Zen, go ahead and heal everybody. Alright, thing. Alright, let's look at this. Alright, so we're in one of the larger areas. Let's back up a bit. Oh yeah, instead of confused, we will give you anti-death blow. Alright, leave us be, leave us be, I do not wish to die. Alright. So this is where, this is like an entrance, right? Okay, this is where we're at. So okay, so we're over here in the center. Alright, so we need to go back this way. Go here. Go back over here. Alright, so we're over here. We need to go back to the north. And basically keep going north. Poison. Oh no, poison, how will we ever? Alright. Alright, so we crossed over. Yeah, we take a right here, this direction, and now we go north. Basically, when we should have taken a left, we took a right, and we wound up not in Albuquerque. The map has this area marked with an equal sign. Doesn't seem like anything special. These royal family sneaks sure know how to hide things. I suppose this will require a hefty amount of searching. I'll go first. Ah, here it is. Nice work. Impressive. How have you some particular knack for finding hidden switches? A knack? It's just practice. You just naturally learn what to feel for. Naturally, eh?
Tell me, you weren't a phantom thief of some kind in your childhood, were you? You know, the kind that shows up in plays and the like? Oh, please. Time isn't on our side, guys. Let's get moving. This is the real deal. Let's save since I finally made it here. Alrighty. Alright. Yeah, once you cross over. Okay. Yo, that's a weird. What is that? Yo, what is that? Whale frog? Male? What? Double murder. That's a creepy thing. I don't know how to feel about that. Alright, let's just punch it. And now we'll shoot it. And now we'll slash it. And we'll miss. Alright, great. Why do I feel like this thing's gonna like eat somebody? Back up! Why I oughta... Bye-bye. No backup. Or yes, backup. Bye-bye.
99.
Okay. Tier all bomb. Limit 1 per hero, dev team. Here's this chest. Uh-oh. Alright, let's freeze you. And, we'll just see how well this goes.
You're finished.
That's a lot of kaboom. Bye-bye.
Savor the victory. We are
Level up. Reflector. If I remember correctly, the reflector, isn't that like a piece of armor? It is. There we go. Alright, now we can head the other direction. Leave me alone, whale frog. No! No! I do not wish to face this abomination once again. Once was enough. Little guy though, I'll murder all day. Whoa, more than the little guy. And arrow storm. Between these two, they should just get annihilated. All those craft points, just for the take. I just love the fact that they pop like they're filled with confetti.
Yeah.
They're pinatas of crystals.
They messed with the wrong guy.
Happy trigger. Ooh. I do not remember what happy trigger does, but I'm excited to find out. Second attack.
Yeah.
Happy trigger, what do you do? HP. Oh, I see. It's an AoE heal. Yo, that's sick. I will accept this with gratitude. Thank you very much, game. You didn't have to. White Gehenna doesn't get resisted by any stuffer. There we go. And I've already got access to Black Fang again.
That's that thing. Let's move out.
Alright. I feel like that way is progress. So what's over here? You wanna turn around, sheep? Nope. Black Fist of the Monkey Sheep. Yo, what? The sheep has some moves. Zin's just over here having like a karate, like just like martial arts master kung fu fight with a sheep. I am for it. Nah. I love the fact that they're like, ah yes, here's a giant clump of monsters, so you can just go and get your points back real quick. So nice.
Alright, we're good to go.
Alright. You know what? I actually feel more secure just doing Arrow Storm, covering the entire battlefield. And Arrow Storm and covering the entire battlefield. I'm surprised that hit Joshua, to be honest. It'd be a bit problematic if these eggs don't get boiled between these two, but I have a feeling it'll be fine. There we go. Kaboom! 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 Floosh.
Alright, we're good to go.
Cloak. The chest marks you with its emptiness. What is cloak? What is cloak? Cloak? Is it a quartz? It is, okay. No encounters. Just none. Now that I remember, I think Cloak is really useful in New Game Plus if you're just trying to go and do achievements and stuff like that. Because I think, if I remember correctly, you can do New Game Plus with, like, keeping levels or something like that. I can't remember if it's this game or later ones, but, like, basically just turning off encounters. Alright. Don't need to fight more sheep. Beyond the door is a stone wall blocking the way. Oops, I guess this is the end of the line. Yes, but there's a hidden switch there. There's a switch to activate. We should probably stay on standby until noon. Alright, we'll be here, well, when the time comes, we'll go in. Oh well, I guess we should just rest until then. I'm surprised Olivia's not like, oh, I'm going to go and pull out my lute and start playing a lovely song. Alright everyone, hold your positions. We'll make our charge when the noon bell rings. We just thought we'd actually end up piloting the Intelligence Division's airship. Creepy looking thing, isn't it? I'm not sure what I like less, this or the Sky Bandit ship. You must admit, though, its specs are impressive. How did the Intelligence Division manage to get a ship like this? Yeah, it's a mystery, just like how they managed to get a hold of the Gospel. Hello, Your Highness. Sorry for the wait. Hey, Peyton. It's been some time. Who's that? Peyton works on the maintenance team for the RCL. Though I'm just a lowly technician sent from Central Factory. We're still conducting test flights for the RCL, so there's quite a lot of data that needs to be collected. Oh, okay. It seemed to be flying just fine when we saw it in Ruan. Oh, number of flights is already stable. The development of the new Orbo engines is behind schedule, so we're just using an older, less powerful one for the moment. Since the Intelligence Division took her away, all the test flights were halted indefinitely. I was wondering what to do with myself when Julia made contact with me in Gransel. Gotcha. We appreciate whatever you can do. You can count on me. I've removed the lock, so you should be able to fly without any problems. She's an extremely maneuverable girl once she gets up and running, so bear that in mind when you're flying. I understand. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Let us look at everybody. Alright. Again, I do not know why you have heal. I know the answer to that is because you need a third, like, thing. But, Alright, yeah, pretty sure, yeah, so rather than heal, I'm getting Shadow Spear, but what if, instead of that, we get Freeze, and still get Shadow Spear? At least it's something if I opt to do a melee attack. So, and then, Shara, what are you working with? Hit, evade, sleep, move, shield, attack. Alright, yeah, that's roughly what I expected. I'm gonna give you action instead of sleep. Alright, instead of hit... Can you make me anything? Alright. Makes me do it. Really? That's thoughtful of you. That should be useful. Thank you very much. It's no big deal. I'm about to say the word. Yeah, let's buy some stuff real quick. Yeah, this gear is bad, but quartz. I can't make another petrify. But to be honest, I can't do petrify, then I'll just make another freeze. Alright. Yeah, so Cher is a mixed attacker. But I think we should be able to make do. Alright, we don't want her getting confused, and let's. Do you have what the no? Buy yes. I want. Yo, wait a second. Oh, that's supposed to. Okay. We'll get no petrify. Get another lily, and then one more death blow, more faint. I do want mute specifically for her. Just to be safe. And for you, no seal. And, no, confused. Alright, and we're just gonna have to deal with the low craft points. Alright.
It's already almost noon. Shall we start the lunch? I understand. Peyton, could you help us?
Roger that. I'll handle the engine. You focus on flying, Your Highness.
It's finally time, Shara.
Yes. It'll be a difficult mission, but the fundamentals are as important as ever. Speed and steadiness. There's the bell. Damn, looks like it started. Let's go, Dorothy. We've got to get good spot. We gotta get a good spot to watch.
Wait! Let me set up the exposure quartz.
Wait, what's going on? We haven't shown up in 3 days, and big story, biggest in the history of the Liberal News. The castle gates controls are in the Royal Guard office. South stairs. Got it. Let's get moving. Oh, wait. Over here. What? Intruders? Well, yes, I guess you could call us that. I guess I can understand the sentiment. Let's go. Yo, the double insta-kill. Gotta love it. Oh no, the seal. Alright, let's go ahead and get in a taunt.
Hey, over here! What? Yellow?
No yellows. We are from the blue team. Victor from the blue team. Leave the arena now and get killed by an aerial storm. No doggos. Bye-bye. Alright. Will normal aerial get them all? No. must be this door. Alright, we'll smack you. That way you get finished off. They poison Zen, but I don't think it will matter considering it won't become a turn before it goes off. There we go.
Enjoy the show.
That take care of some. Nighty night, kitty cats. Let's see what we can do about this gate control. Keep your eyes open for any more special ops. Leave it to us. No one's getting through here or my name isn't Zen the Immovable. And now's the time for Heaven's Gate to open. Thus begins the final movement. What the? Aren't we on total lockdown right now? Why is the gate opening? What? Impossible. Someone had better tell me this is a bad joke. Why is the gate open? Your orders, Captain. Enemies could breach the castle at any moment. All remaining members of the first platoon to the foyer. Allow no one to enter. Yes, ma'am. What a disgrace. If the enemy has not routed before, I have to report to His Excellency. Captain, Special Ops frigate inbound. Damn it, so this was their ploy. Hello? We've come with a special delivery. The princess. Estelle Bright and Princess Claudia. Captain Almathea, stand aside. I'm here to demand the release of my grandmother. Watch your tongue, girl. Ooh, poison. We'll just have to deal with it. Alright, let's, for starters, try and whittle down the others. Alright. And a miss, great. Alright, there we go. Give it that extra second for good measure. Just a little bit more. Insta-kill, that's not good. Alright. It's fine though. That's one down. Oh, this is gonna crit now. For 4 damage. Perfect. Do I not have the revive spell? Okay. Alright, let's get Chera up.
We're good to go.
Alright. Chera is not going to take this lying down. Eats the sushi.
Right.
Ooh, that's pretty rough. Alright. I need to be able to get a turn and where I can heal everybody and then separate. Because their poison spray is just gonna wail on us. Like this. Alright, let's get Estelle away. One more hit will do it. Thankfully, Estelle can't be poisoned, so...
We're good to go.
What a nasty woman. Who was that anyways? Colonel Richard, second in command. You're stereotypical femme fatale. That would explain it, yes. Now on to the royal keep? Yes, let's hurry.
Alright, so this is going to be a bit rough. Let me see. What are the requirements I need? Thalos. I need some earth. Thalos, okay. And yeah, we're gonna drop that for defense, so I can Curia and Thalos. Alright, Tyrell. Okay. So, up next is a pretty, well, you'll see. Alright, and...
I found them! This way. Uh-oh, here they come again! Persistent low buggers, aren't they?
Alright. We need to get some craft points for the others. Alright, and Aerostorm will hit everybody. This will get a decent chunk. Yes, good. And bonk. Alright, Hurricane. Spend this and get some back.
Oh, are we done already?
Alright. Here they come! You shall not pass! But we must, and we will! Come on, just try and stop us!
Ah, good, we got petrification out. feel like I might need to go and shift Stell over back to like a tank build. Just for the sake of, you know, the fact that we don't have like Zin in the party at the moment. So it seems like Estelle's defense is holding up pretty well. So it might be okay. Alright, I'm literally just stalling a turn to let somebody else get the killing blow for some more craft points. Alright, let's heal up. And one more. Alright.
You traitors, you dare come to me here? Do you not realize that I am the new king?
Oh, go and brush your goofy hairdo.
You ain't king yet. What?
Your Grace, Duke Dunham, we are with the Bracers Guild. At the request of Her Majesty, Princess Claudia, we are here to free the Queen. It would be best for all involved if you quietly stood aside.
Claudia? Damn that brat. Damn her to hell.
Uncle Dunham, please stop this. Colonel Richard is just using you.
What? Who are you? Huh? Claudia, is that you? What happened to your hair, your clothes?
We have comprehension. Repeat, we have comprehension. Though he still doesn't know us that we first met him in Rome. No idea what you're talking about, but he doesn't seem the most observant sort. I should have told him sooner, perhaps.
How dare you make a fool of me? It is because of things like this that those creatures known as women cannot be trusted. Sly, narrow-minded, nitpicking, nagging wretches. How could I ever give up the crown to such a vile creature?
Uh-huh.
I mean?
Your Grace, I don't think that was the right thing to say.
Maybe you should apologize. Vile creatures, huh?
My, I believe you just gone from stupid to suicidal. After all, that's a mighty courageous sentiment to vocalize when in the presence of 3 armed women. I'm sorry, Uncle. In this, I cannot defend you. Yeah, I think he's kind of just asking for it. Petrification is the nation. Okay, let's take out the lesser guys first.
How about a reward,
You got healed while being a rock. Congratulations. That's impressive. Yeah, Estelle's probably gonna die. I need to use her craft points before she gets hit. Bye-bye.
I'm supposed to be the next king!
Seems you came up short.
Look at all that Sepith.
Phew, I thought we was gonna go belly up on us. I really only wanted to beat up on the special ops soldiers. Wes, a little dose of the cold, hard truth might be the best medicine he's ever gotten. Yes, it is an unfortunate situation he's gotten himself into. Still, I cannot allow my unconscious uncle to simply be left. Your Grace! Hey, Philip! Mrs. Stone, Your Highness! I offer no words to make up for my master's behavior in this instance. As the man who raised him, the responsibility is mine to bear. Please, I ask that you must punish me in his stead. Philip bowed his head deeply. Hey, hold on a second. Please, Philip, lift your eyes. We're here to help my grandmother, to save the Queen. We have no intention of doing anything to the Duke. I would appreciate it if you would take him to my room. Your Highness!
He's not actually hurt. It was just a shock at the thought of someone actually laying a hand on him. And a tornado.
Thank you so much, all of you. I will never forget the boon you have granted.
Alright, I forget. Can we, like... Dylan is unconscious. Alright. Alright, I'm trying to think. This is gonna be rough. Oh boy. Alright, well. We'll just have to make do.
Are you alright, Grandmother? We're here to rescue your Majesty. Claudia and Estelle.
So you're finally here. I was getting quite bored with waiting.
Lieutenant Lawrence, what are you doing here?
My duty is to guard Her Majesty. Is it truly any wonder that I'm here?
Enough of your crap. No matter how strong you are, we still got 3-to-1 odds on you.
It's certainly one. This one certainly seems skilled.
Just who is he? Commander of the Intelligence Division Special Corps Operation, Second Lieutenant Lawrence Blelger. Former Jaeger and scout for the Colonel.
So you've done your research, I see. Most impressive. What else would one expect of the daughter of an S-ranked bracer? One Cassius Bright, I believe.
My master's rank has never been public knowledge, and yet you're not one to be trifled with, I see.
I know you as well. Sherzard Harvey, also known as the Silver Streak, C rank. And very close to be ascending to B rank, it would seem.
Please release my grandmother. If you were just fighting in the employ of the Colonel, there's no further call to do this.
There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of your philosophy. You see only the surface, like that of the quartz grid, with no concept of the forces that work within.
What?
Take heed, Princess Claudia.
Your nation is like an enormously complex augment.
The people are like the units of quartz that provide the power and organize the system. And the territory which houses them all is the frame. If you lack the means to understand how it works, then you are unfit to be its queen.
An interesting metaphor. You may even be right.
I certainly never expected to hear a theory on the nature of politics at a time like this. Pardon my rudeness. You've no need to hear my useless sermonizing, Your Majesty.
I don't really understand this all that well, but the general gist is that you don't plan to let the Queen go, do you?
And if I do not?
Obviously, we take her back by force.
Indeed. After all, we've come this far, we certainly can't go back now.
You don't give me the impression that you bear us any ill will, but I will bring my blade to bear on you if you get my grandmother's if it will get my grandmother's back.
Good. In that case, let me show you a little of what I can really do.
Huh?
Oh no, he's hot.
Silver hair.
No, it's ash blonde. I guess that means you were born somewhere up north. Indeed. Indeed, you're correct. Though it's closer than you might think. What? I trust you will not be offended if I simply choose not to go easy on you, simply because you are women. Shall we then? Alright. Let's see if I prepared enough for this fight. Alright. Yeah, this guy. Imagine if I was able to just petrify them in that one moment. That would have been the perfect. Just perfect. Alright. Alright, Lawrence. In art. Oh, I don't have time. Anti-Sep-Zero. I'm glad I did the, I gave the anti-mute to her. Yeah, we don't have access to anti-Sep-Zero. Alright, can I intercept this? No. Alright. He's targeting himself, which means... Okay. X Earthguard EX. If I remember correctly, this requires 2 hits. Alright. Yep, 2 hits. I missed. Crap, what's he doing? Alright, good. He's just trying to mute her again. Alright. Then... That's right, he's got an interrupt AoE. That's a sword technique, not an art. There we go. That's finally off. Oh, he's got an S-break. Ow, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. Get some shields up. What are you gonna do now? Alright, good. Oh, that's right, she's got this move now.
This ought to perk you up.
So, that basically goes and makes it be whoever's turn she goes and targets. I'll have to do single target. I'm gonna get behind you so you can stop AoEing in the line to hit us all. You're healing. He's like, I can do it too. Man, he casts so fast. I'm so glad I have Confuse Resist. Alright. Another one of these. I think Chloe's out of range. Yeah, she is. Okay. I need to heal. Oh no, Estelle's not in range.
Light of the heavens, heal these battered wings. Radiant flash!
You're just healing. I know he doesn't have an infinite amount of EP, is the thing. I think it's we are back at the start.
We're good to go!
Alright, good. We just need to wail on him. I do have items to heal my EP, but it's not like I have an infinite supply. You're doing you're doing Demon Flame and you get go again? Why are you so Hackman, Lawrence? I'm gonna take advantage of that critical that's coming up.
This ends here.
I'm not letting you critical heal. Oh good, it's EX guard. You healing? You're healing. Okay. I feel like he heals in response to me doing a heal, is the thing. Like when I cast Cure, he basically goes and does his own. Oh my goodness. You are like... You are just gonna make this fight last forever, aren't you? let's just use these points.
Someone's been naughty.
Not a lot, to be honest. My dude, you think it, like, I get that we're healing as well, but you're also spamming your S-Craft. Like that's a whole other like league of things. If I had some I could intercept. Just a little more. This is probably gonna knock Shara out. Yeah, she's down.
It can't be.
But there we go. So this is actually one of those you should lose, but if you've been playing well, you can win fights. That if you if you lose, the story will continue. And there's an achievement for beating him here. Amazing. I hadn't realized you were this strong. You were holding back in the finals, weren't you? We never had even stood a chance. We should never have even stood a chance. I'm impressed we beat this monster. I can't believe it. Estelle Bright, I apologize for treating you as an unworthy opponent. Perhaps one day you may reach your father's level. What? However, that day has yet to arrive even. Ah! Claudia, Estelle. It'll be far enough, Your Majesty, if you please. They are not mortally wounded, I assure you. Your eyes betray much. You're so young, yet you have endured such hardship already. Your Majesty, you are hardly qualified to feel pity for me. You know of the name of Hamel. It's almost time. I'll return Her Majesty to you, just as you wished. Huh? If you wish to stop the Colonel, you had best hurry below. You may well already be too late. But you may be able to prevent any further needless damage from occurring. Below? You cannot mean beneath there. How unpleasant you find it. However unpleasant you find it, I was certain that you would understand the significance. You can show them the way. And now I bid you adieu. My man just leaps into the ocean. And by ocean I mean lake, but like my dude. Hey! Is he insane? He's gone. Did he drop into the lake? But the water's undisturbed. Just who is this guy? Grandmother, are you alright? I'm unharmed, Claudia. He never laid a hand on me. But more importantly, Estelle! Joshua? Thank Adios, you're alright. And you too. Since Colonel Richard and Lieutenant Lawrence weren't in the castle, I started to worry. The red helmet guy was here just a minute ago. What? He jumped over the handrail and, well, who knows? He was some kind of monster, alright. I see. Praise Adios for keeping you safe. Joshua?
Your Majesty, it's good to see you unharmed. Well met, Lieutenant Chores. Indeed, I owe all of you a great debt of gratitude. You are far too kind, Your Majesty. We're just glad to help.
I don't think this is over yet, though.
We've dealt with the special ops inside the castle, but I'm afraid there are bad tidings. Our reinforcements from every province are on their way to Grancel. From the sounds of it, the intelligence division is somehow maintaining control. I see. Time is short, my liege. I must ask that you board the ID ship and escape at once. No, I cannot do. The situation has grown more dire. Colonel Richard must be stopped, whatever the cost. What do you mean, Your Majesty? Last night, I finally understood the true intentions of which the Colonel spoke. He wants the Shining Ring, the Aurole. Aurole? Why does that sound familiar? It's one of the Septarians that Adios gave the Ancients. The legends say it has power to control nature itself. Oh yeah, Professor Alba told us about it. But I thought that was just some silly story that was passed down through the church. Huh? So, it does exist. And it lies somewhere within Libero, according to the old legends of the royal family. The Shining Ring shall bring catastrophe, condemning the souls of men to eternal purgatory. It has been sealed within intervals of the blackest dark, that we may retain our humanity. Condemning the souls of men to eternal purgatory. Well, that's not a little ominous. These words have been passed down to the royal family as a warning. Perhaps the Shining Ring truly was so dangerous that the royal family ancestors sealed it away. Also, there was that massive orbital reaction that was detected beneath the city. If one takes both of these into account, this Shining Ring must be sealed away underneath Grancel. It makes sense. Yes, and I believe that the Colonel has reached the same conclusion. There remain no details of what exactly the Shining Ring is, but I believe there will be a grave danger for us should it be restored. It could be a disaster on par with the great collapse of legend. No. Incredible. Excuse me, Your Majesty. Lieutenant Lawrence told us to go underground. But what does that really mean? There is a mysterious room within Grancel Castle, where nothing, not even a grain of rice, has been kept for generations, written since long ago. Oh, you mean the treasury? No doubt about it. There are signs that someone came through here recently, and frequently at that. That's not all. The tracks also suggest that someone brought in something very heavy. I hold the key to this room, but there is a spare. It's likely that was used to gain entry. It would seem that we must investigate. Queen Alicia produced a key from her dress. This elevator wasn't here before. Where'd it come from? Perhaps it's a piece of the Colonel Richard's new construction. In which case, it probably goes down to where the Shining Ring is sealed away. Yes. That may have been the true goal behind the coup from the very beginning. They could never have built such a thing without occupying the castle. That's crazy. It's definitely a possibility. If in any given country, a royal sanctuary is generally regarded as an invalid. To break that trust would require quite an aggressive plan. Regardless, we'll probably need to use this to get to underground. Let's test it to see if it works. Joshua began to inspect the elevator's control panel. Huh? What is it? It's locked with some type of orbital energy. It looks like it won't work unless we find some special type of ports to put it in. What? No, we've come so far. I'm going to put the screws over one of those special ops soldiers. One of them might have the key. Yes, that sounds wisest. No, that won't be necessary. Huh? It can't be. Oh, Professor Russell. Queen Alicia, it's been quite some time. I'm glad to see Estelle and Joshua are doing well as well. Hold up, Professor, what are you doing here? I thought the intelligence division was after you and Zeus. And on top of that, how did you get here? Grandpa, where'd you go? Enough with the running all over the place. Is everyone in your family as big of a pain in the ass as you? But Agate! Oh! Tita? I knew it. Estelle! Joshua! Hug. Aw, Tita. Thank goodness. I was hoping I'd get to see you again.
One of the best things about Legends of Heroes, just in general, people hug. I know that sounds weird, but after playing a bunch of Japanese game where it's like head pat, I appreciate the hug.
We heard at the guild that you two were fighting at the castle. I'm so glad you're all right. Tita,
Thank you for being so concerned. It's good to see you as well, Agate. But what are you doing in the Royal City? Well, we hid out for a bit, but then we happened upon a cargo freighter bound for Gransel. And I figured, what the hell? The best place to hide is plain in sight, after all. Once we got the lowdown from Melnin, we came straight for the castle. Alright, got something for you from him.
is this okay? I mean, we haven't reported in.
Looks like you got filled in on the general gist from things from the guardsman messenger. So what brings you amateur asses here? Me, I figured we could at least beat up some remaining special ops guys. Huh? Wait, I know you.
It's been a little while, Agate. Thank you for your efforts at the lighthouse.
Chloe, right? What's a student doing in a place like this?
It's my granddaughter.
It seems my granddaughter is in your debt. Which means that I also owe you my thanks. Don't worry about it, it's all part of the job. So what's up, Granny? You work at the castle? Do those numbskulls rope you into helping them?
You barbarian! Did you realize who you're speaking to? You would stand in the presence of Queen Alicia of Liberl.
Huh? You know, she does look kind of familiar.
You really should have You really should loosen that bandana of yours, boy. It's obviously squeezing your brain too tight.
Say that again, old man.
Queen? So that means this lady would have to be...
Her Majesty's granddaughter, Princess Claudia. We call her Chloe, though.
Chloe, meet Professor Tita's granddaughter.
Oh, wait.
Chloe, meet the professor's granddaughter, Tita. She's like our little sister. I see. It's a pleasure to meet you, Tita. I'd be happy if you also call me Chloe. Yes, ma'am. I mean Chloe. Aw, what a cute little cutie pie. My name's Sherazard. I'm Joshua and Estelle's mentor. You can just call me Shara. Okay, Shara.
And you can call me Uncle Olivier. You shut up.
Anyway, this elevator seems to be giving you quite some trouble. What seems to be the problem?
I've lost his voice. Where'd it go?
What seems to be the problem? What in Adios' name is going on in there?
Well, Joshua briefly relayed the gist of Colonel Richard's plan and told the professor about the Shining Ring, aka the Oriel. Oh, come on, this is some kind of joke, right? You're not serious.
I can't believe such a thing would be buried here.
Now that it happens, just as I was afraid of.
So if we use this elevator, we can get where we need to go.
Mad say no. No, I have lost it. I'll find it tomorrow. Yes, but it has a special lock. Made of quartz, apparently.
That. Let me have a look at that.
This is my own design.
This is my own design. No. It uses a key card. You can't undo the lock unless you insert the card that's embedded into the identical quartz.
The professor produced a small cable and slid it into the guard slot.
However, this is an early model without any type of failsafe. So if you feed it the just right amount of orb energy. Woohoo! Nice going, Prof.
I'm impressed. Why am I not surprised? Now shall we descend?
We've got trouble.
What is it? Report. A division of the regular army has arrived at Gransel's main gate. It looks like they're being led by an officer of the intelligence division. What?
And the 3 military patrol ships are approaching from the lake. Your orders, ma'am?
All the damn times. Perhaps I should make an appearance in order to persuade them.
Grandmother.
I will go to the terrace on the roof and address the arriving forces. Lieutenant Schwartz, make your preparations.
But what if you're attacked?
I believe in them. Misguided though they are still citizens of Liberl. If they see me and hear my voice, I do not believe they will attack. Your Majesty. All of you. It is with boundless regret that I ask you to shoulder this burden.
Please, Your Majesty, you don't need to say anything.
We'll do whatever it takes to stop the Colonel. Please just leave this to us. Alright. And so we descend. Deeper and deeper. Really deep.
What the heck?
The ruins from the ancient Sumerian civilization.
As old as these appear, I get the feeling that this place is completely dead. It seems to function like the equipment in the tetracyclical towers.
That ain't all that ain't all that's moving. I get the feeling we've got some pretty nasty creatures around here too.
Wow!
The structures nearby look to be made of modern materials. I suppose Colonel Richard had some construction going on. I suspect you're right. Building anything at this depth is rather impressive.
The ruins are even larger than I suspected. If we're not careful, we could get terribly lost.
It may be best if we split up. 2 groups. One for scouting and one for staying on standby.
What do you mean?
Basically, we establish a base camp of sorts in a secure location. That's the gist of it. The scouting party will find a way through, and the ones on standby will be available to switch out as needed. Once the right path is found, everyone moves forward to establish a new base.
Makes sense to me. In that case, I believe that our current location would be the best place to start from. Estelle and Joshua, you'll be the ones to decide who's going to be on which team. Wait, us? But you two are the very heart of this operation. I doubt anyone will object.
I agree.
As do I. I'll follow your lead.
Like I have a choice. I'm in.
I have faith in you to make the right choices.
Sounds fine to me.
Joshua, what do we do?
No need to think hard about it. Things get rough, we can always turn back and switch people out.
Oh, well then.
Alright, so we get to pick our party here. And, it's gonna be Agate. And, let's see here. As much as I want to bring Tita, she's too squishy for what's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna do Agate and, Olivier.
Estelle, I'm going to send Sieg to accompany you. When you find a suitable spot to use as a base, please send him back. He'll be able to show you the way to wherever you are. Scree!
Ah, good idea. That way, the search party won't have to backtrack to the others.
It's up to you, Sieg. Scree, scree! Well then, that means we're counting on you to handle the scouting. Just to be on the safe side, I prepared a complete set of tools. Should you have everything you need? If you need to modify any armament, just let me know. Okay,
We'll be off then. Alright, so we are going to be ending here. But let's see here, what can I buy? Alright, yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, so we're going to be ending here. Thank you for coming by, everybody. Ooh, good celestial bombs. Please and thank you. And by please, I mean more. But yeah, so next time, which will be tomorrow evening, we will make our way through. We'll be using Estelle. Alright, I'll do it from this menu. We'll be using Estelle, Joshua, Agate, and Olivier. So it'll be quite the powerhouse combination, if you ask me. So we can look forward to really fun combinations. As much as I enjoy using Zin, Agate is just a much more like dynamic and fun character to fight with. So yeah, I will see you all next time, and thank you for coming by. We'll have the finale and the and whatnot and everything that lies beyond tomorrow night. I'll see you there. Best of luck to everybody.